Hello, and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Arancho, your host. Today is Thursday night, June 18th, 9 p.m. Pacific. If you're on the East Coast, it's actually tomorrow. But here we are, ready to draft some best ball teams. And Pepper Tony's in the house, Fimpst and First. Shout out Pepper Tony. Thank you for joining us today. Let us begin. I hit the button like 2 seconds early. Nonetheless, we're here. And if you made it in early, kudos to you. You're getting a chance to hop in. We're giving you a very, very quick chance to set it up. Puppy 2. We're drafting in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 6 spots. Let's get it. Should be a fun one. We'll do at least 2 tonight, but I think we can go until midnight. I think we can do 3 hours tonight. I think it'll be a late night type of show. But speaking of vibes, I guess I didn't say anything about vibes, but let's just bring this in. Let's just pop the music. Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah, indeed. This lobby is full. We are set. Good evening. Scott is in here. I'll see you when it's all said and done, Scott. Appreciate you. Yo, what's up, Jamie? We're going to be going live with Jamie on Monday. Jamie, remind me which channel, because I know you have multiple channels. Please let the folks know. The time will be 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then I don't want to be mistaken. Good for you, Jamie. Get it done. Get it done. What are we drafting tonight? We're in a puppy right now, and then perhaps I'll feel bold enough to do a eliminator draft. Maybe we're starting to get to the time where I'm willing to do an eliminator here or there. I think once we're in July, it'll be more intriguing, but at least for now, probably not. Probably just sticking in the puppy. Most likely tonight. We don't have any super flex drafts. I think we're going to save our BBM entry for this weekend, and I think we're sticking in the puppy tonight. But Jamie says the IDP Center. All right, we'll be on the IDP Center on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, if you're on the East Coast, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Should be a very fun time. Excited for that. But you should be excited as well, Jamie. Lock in. Get it done, brother. Get it done. Fantasy Monster, hashtag 0RB is dead. Well, in the spirit of that, we get Puka at 5. I don't love JSN at 5, so Eagles 76. Taking JSN. Go for it. Go for it. I probably might have just bit the bullet on JSN. If you were watching last night with the roundup in the Pit Bowl $20 entry, I did take pick 5, and Ryan endorsed it. We took Hampton at the 105. We pulled him up. We got Hampton and London. Very interesting combo, but I'm not going to do that all the time. And once you do something like that, get it out of your system, it feels a little better to just pivot back to ADP. Kind of wise to just also get your exposures in round 1. But JSN gets taken at 4. We get Puka at 5. So this board decides our fate. We're in with Puka at 105. But in this lobby, I recognize Sosky right behind me at the 106. I think Eagles might be watching. It might be the Eagles that recently followed me on Twitter. So maybe it's somebody else. Maybe they're not watching, but perhaps it's him. Rocco Jamaica in here. What's up, brother? He took Genti at 7. He's not afraid. And then, interesting, the pig, El Puerco, 72. Went Amon-Ra 8. That's a good pick. We got Game Tight going Jefferson and Bowers. Not a bad combo. Not bad at all. A little unique. Don't mind it. And then Dez got slabs, has Jonathan Taylor, pick 10 with Saquon. That's not bad at all. And then I am on the clock. Of course, I don't get one of those running backs to fall. With that in mind, I'm just going to go A.J. Brown today. Haven't taken A.J. Brown in a minute. Used to take him a ton in round 3, but in all honesty, I have not been willing to chase up A.J. Brown up the board because of his Week 17 matchup. I really wish he didn't get Pat Surtain in Week 17. If anything, I kind of tucked myself into Hunter Henry a little bit more in that matchup. Maybe even Romeo Doubs, but I'm not going to be afraid of A.J. Brown on the season. Definitely a key piece, and he can also really help you get there. Week 16 matchup against the Jets, that's going to be lights out, no fucking chance. A.J. Brown gets limited Week 16. However, Week 17, maybe he'll be on the bench, but you only need 8 in Week 17. Let's get there with A.J. Brown. Puka and A.J. Brown, almost 2 players that were teammates. There were trade rumors on Devontae Adams, but alas, it did not happen, and we have A.J. Brown in New England, just as Diana Rossini predicted. Her final contribution to the prediction market did come true. Your soothing sound, what's up, man? He says you saw me in Goofy Chicken stream. Yeah, that was a fun draft, and we took the plus EV against Centex Legend, and we capitalized on Jiri's pass of Lamar Jackson. That was kind of shocking. He had Flowers. He got a nice price on a Waddle. He passed on Lamar. I passed as well. I took DJ Moore, and then at 66 in the 6th round, I also got shit. I'm on the clock. You know what? Let's try to prove Fantasy Monster wrong. Let's go triple wide receiver to start, and we're betting on the risk of Neighbors. We're already betting on the risk of this build. White out. These days, not usually the best move, but let's do it today. I have a shit ton of Travis. We'll move on and just take Neighbors. No fear today. What's up, Putt Daddy? How we doing? Yo, what's up, Who Hames? Family soup to you too. Welcome in. If you have not checked out Who Hames, he makes amazing, delicious recipes on his cooking channel over there, and it's just good eating with the family. You know, feed a family of 12 for a nice price with the soup du jour over there. Give Who Hames a follow. Indeed. Indeed. Jamie, I'm wrapping it up because no need for good luck, Jamie. Wolves fan, how many of these you think you end up doing by the start of the season? Good question. The pre-draft contest, I did 183, and then at the moment I'm sitting at like 168. I'm coming up on 170, and it's not even July yet. But if I had to guess. Sorry, my cat's doing something weird back here. All right. I'll probably finish over 300. Let's say 333 drafts. Let's try that. Jacobs falls. Would have loved Scadaboo. Almost made it, but yeah, we're betting on some risk today. We're taking the former 3rd round pick. Just betting that the league ain't gonna care. Ultimately, worst case scenario, he plays out his contract after a 6-game suspension. But we take Jacobs, and in all seriousness, Who Hames is a great fantasy football streamer. One of my favorites, if not who I watch the most, honestly. He's live weekdays, Monday through Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central. Give him a view, a like, and a subscription. Tell him I sent you. You will not regret your time. But have a scoop. Is this the type of... Is this in regards to the family soup? that would be my guess. But I've never heard soup referred to as like just a scoop of soup. It was like a scoop of ice cream. But I suppose a scoop with like a ladle does make sense. That tracks. I don't make too many soups at home. Anyways, we start off Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs. And we are perhaps not quite fully invested in the 0 RB, but not everyone is bold enough to go whiteout, whiteout, whiteout. Eagles, though, goes quad whiteout. He takes Igbuka and Bucky Irving. Not bad. The price on Baker's getting really interesting these days, but I'm not going to be bold enough to hyper commit once again. I'm going to go Baishal Tutin. At the moment, this Chris Rodriguez news is just a little bit concerning. Just a tiny bit. If that's the case, Baishal Tutin should crush. And I was a fan of his last year. I liked clicking Baishal Tutin last year. And then once the price got into like the 11th round, I kind of cooled it. But I believed in the upside. I thought he could be last year's Bucky Irving. And Travis just was unwilling to relent, not willing to give up his job. Week 1 was a real prove it type of game. Who's ready to keep the job? Travis took it. They did pass on Tank, traded him away the next week. And then Baishal Tutin still had quite a few goal line attempts. But if Chris Rodriguez is not going to steal too many of those this year, especially if he has a lingering foot injury that crops up again mid-season, if we get workhorse production out of Baishal Tutin, we're in good shape. But I think worst case scenario, they would sign someone like Najee Harris, maybe take a shot on Joe Mixon if they had to. Imagine if Joe Mixon actually has value. But James Conner also good candidate for that. They can figure things out if it doesn't work. But Colin Stewart at the moment, yeah, with the ambiguous nature of the Jags running back room right now and the injury risk factoring in for Chris Rodriguez, I am willing to take Baishal Tutin because I'm worried that come next week we get a bad headline. Over the coming months, it just becomes worse and worse. And next thing you know, Baishal Tutin is like a third-round pick. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. We also get a bring back Jags versus Washington. Should be a lights-out, very high-scoring game. And the Commanders' defense doesn't scare me. The Jags' defense, however, is very good at stopping the run versus running backs. They were a very good matchup for quarterbacks last season at times because of the nature of their secondary. They give up a lot of yards. They also give up some high-end rushing yards. I believe Davis Mills had a very productive outing against them. And speaking of that, let me pull up Davis Mills stats just to get excited again about this Jags matchup, Week 17. Is this, Crowder, is this what you came here for? Davis Mills game logs at 9:15 p.m. on the West Coast? Past midnight on the East Coast? Because you're going to get it. All right, let's bring it in. Here we go. Davis Mills, 2025. Not too many starts, but Week 10 versus Jacksonville. 27 of 45, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and then I am here to prove it. 3 rush attempts, 20 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown, baby. If Davis Mills can do that, what is Jaden Daniels going to do? Week 17 against Jacksonville. He's a good pick. Not just for Week 17, but in general, very good pick. I'm going to go QJ. Fuck it. You're telling me Ladd has a hamstring injury? QJ has the best coaching of his career. Let's trust Mike McDaniel. Let's get a charger on this team for the vibes. QJ is not making it back. And I kind of hate this round. I've told you many times. I kind of hate round 7. That's why I'm 30% Justin Herbert. But interesting, Herbert is off the board already. I didn't even notice that. Wasn't going to take him after going Jaden Daniels today. Both have a week 7 bye. But still, give me a charger. And Alec Pierce has been falling. Honestly, I think he could even make it back to me. I've seen it happen. We got Sutton, pretty mid. They bring in Jalen Waddle. Yo, what is my cat doing? Can you stop? I don't know what's going on. Cats have a mind of their own. She's like clawing at the carpet. I'm like, don't you dare take a piss on this fucking carpet. Mike Rob, yo, what's up, man? I got a biter, a head case, a dude with no more knee cartilage, and a dude with a mean right hook. Seems like you have a type. We're drafting recklessly tonight, man. We're drafting recklessly. I got a guy with butterfingers, a dude that will get 4 injuries throughout the season, and then a 4th round pick that might not last. Yeah, this is a risky team. We're having fun tonight. Jackson Dart would make sense. My running back room, though, looking a tiny bit thin, kind of questionable. I don't have much of him, but we're invested in the Rams. Let's go Blake Corum and make the argument that what if on this team we luck out with a Kyron Williams injury? What if Kyron goes down? You might want to have Blake Corum in that situation. So, premier handcuff, expensive, but I click Kyle Monungai on occasion in this round. Kenneth Gainwell goes immediately after. I have way more Kenny Gainwell. But Blake Corum doesn't really fall too often. Pass pick like 102, 103. And maybe I should have just taken Jackson Dart. Said fuck it. Because someone can take him unstacked. It makes sense. However, I have options. I can still go Stafford. Adams is at the bookend. He's picked 1. So I can probably push Stafford as well. Unlikely to see him come off the board around the long turn. But unless Eagles takes a giant, then this will pay off. I'll still have Jackson Dart available here. And I get my preferred running back. The running back position is not one to fuck around with too much. And Gainwell went off immediately. Nobody else took a running back. Corum would have probably come off the board around the turn there. So my running back room, a little shaky. We get a premier handcuff. I'm going to attack it with volume in general, so I can afford what some might consider more of a luxury pick, given the price for a handcuff. Top 100. Little pricey. Little expensive at times, but worth the upside if everything works in the right direction. But Money Anything says, I came here for ponies and ice cream past 9:15 on the West Coast. Not sure you're going to get ponies and ice cream, but have a scoop. Here, have a scoop. Keep scrolling. We're almost at the bottom of his neck. Yeah, the yards per neck on Davis Mills probably leads the league. But QJ stonks, absolutely. QJ is no longer a consistent 8th round pick, and wouldn't expect him to be there at 92 these days. He's absolutely moving back up the board. Davis Mills was a big deal a few years ago, says Crowder. A few instances where Davis Mills has actually had some relevance. I mean, last year in the playoff game against the Patriots, maybe, I don't know if I would say this is my favorite broadcaster to bring up, but Ryan Clark was calling for Davis Mills at halftime. Stafford does make it. Question is the Hurts Drake May drafter going to pass as well? I'm going to go Aaron Jones, grab a running back before the massive cliff. And yeah, with Blake Corum, having Aaron Jones makes this feel a bit better. Because also Corum being a bit more injury dependent, it's not that he can't produce week 1, but if he's really winning you the league, it's probably later in the season. And week 1, I know for a fact, as long as Aaron Jones finishes training camp, he will be the Minnesota running back to own start of season. I'm not sure what will happen down the stretch, but if Corum isn't really contributing week 1, and then Jacobs is also suspended theoretically, I'll need some points early in the year. So I like Aaron Jones for specifically that. And then best case scenario on Jones, he just stays healthy, and he's the guy you need in Minnesota all year long. So solid pick. Not bad. The team with Adams, I think, did take him. No. Stafford went unstacked, actually. Shuck is still on the board. I do not have Olave on this team. But for this price, I could just stop drafting quarterbacks. However, let's take the bet today that Diggs is a commander. How about that? Let's get the Jaden Daniels, Stephon Diggs potential stack on this one. Money and things. Davis Mills sounds like a factory that employs hard-working Americans. Yeah, it's the Nepo baby of General Mills. Is his eldest son that wanted his own company. Whoa, what is this? Trip whiteout build. It's honestly, I find it pretty interesting. I think this team is kind of fun. Like, as Mike Rob was saying, we got a type here. We got a lot of weirdos. Let's say that. Let's put it that way. We got a lot of weirdos up top. Puka, AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors. All gas, no brakes. Josh Jacobs, sticking with the theme. Baishal Tootin, paired up with Jaden Daniels, the Week 17 bring back. Then we go QJ, Mr. Butterfingers, at pick 77. Blake Corum, betting against Kyron Williams here. And then Jackson Dart for the stack at 101. Aaron Jones to get back in at running back. And then Stephon Diggs betting on the stack with Jaden. But this is kind of gross, honestly. This is not a great spot. And I don't have a tight end yet, so let's lock up a guaranteed stack. Let's go Chig Okonkwo and just move on with our day. I've seen Chig moving up the board. To bet on Chig at 149 is not a guarantee. His ADP is 147. That is a price that is rapidly moving up the board. So without a tight end yet, not going to fuck around. Would have loved Isaiah Likely to circle back, but we have Neighbors. Let's just keep that bet consolidated. And then there's nothing guaranteed in regards to Diggs being a commander. So let's just take money in the bank. A bird in the bush is worth a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. That's the saying. We might have two, but at least we got one. Bukowski misses Chig at 190. I would agree. Keeping an old man up late. Appreciate you, Bukowski. I believe you're in Minnesota. I feel like you've mentioned that. Apologies if I am mistaken. But how's the Minneapolis spring, the Minnesota spring treating you? If I'm correct, yes, sir. Yeah, the Midwest at this time of year, quite a breathtaking, beautiful sight. Not gonna lie. I'm on the clock, and I mean Cam Ward does fall. Didn't get Jalen McMillan to circle back. Nah, I'm not willing to do. I have a shit ton of Cam Ward, and just doesn't make the most sense on this team. Just getting another tight end. I'm grabbing 3, so double week 7 bye with Okonkwo, Brenton Strange. Who gives a shit? I am not afraid. I get the bring back week 17. Jacksonville versus Washington. Let's go. And we hyped up the Davis Mills matchup against Jacksonville, let's take a peek at their tight end matchup against Dalton Schultz in that same game. Because if I'm not mistaken, they were also a very good matchup for tight ends. They were dog shit for running backs. But yeah, here we go. This is beautiful. Dalton Schultz versus Jacksonville, week 10. 11 targets, 7 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. That's pretty rare for Dalton Schultz. And you can bet on the matchup playing a factor there. Also, the Davis Mills correlation, also actually kind of valuable. But last year's stats are not this year's stats. Things can change, but how drastically will they change over just one calendar year? You know, how much can a team just totally fix their defense in that quick a time? But who Hames? That's not ice cream. Ponies definitely creating a substance, though. The ponies? Maybe I'm not following. The only thing this is making me think of is like droppings. Like horses take they'll take a shit anywhere. So I'm not sure I track, but definitely don't want to scoop at that shit. Fuck no. Hell no. I don't know what's going on. Jedi got the next draft. Sweet. We also have J-Rock the Party. I don't think I should shout it out. J-Rock the Party at pick 11. But I'm a little faded. If you didn't know, I've been talking myself into Charbonnet lately. This team has a lot of risk already baked in. Let's further commit a little 5-pick slide on Zach Charbonnet. And if he's healthier than we expect, then damn. I don't know if I want Jadarian Price, like, at all. I might start becoming a Sharb slappy. I might start reaching on Charbonnet. I've always been a fan of Zach Charbonnet. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, backup in the league. And then moving off of Walker, I think speaks volumes to that. But back on the clock, I think I'm going to take my boy here, assuming Eagles doesn't take the Eagle. I could definitely get sniped by Eagles. But if not, I'll take Philly all day with Tank Bigsby. In round 15, Eagles Rodgers, not even thinking about it. Insta-click. Tank Bigsby. All right, fun running back team. We got Jacobs, Beischel, Tootin, Blake Corum, Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet, and Tank Bigsby in the backfield. To start off triple wideout, there's some risk here, no doubt about it. But, like, if it hits, this could fucking smash. This is fun. I like this team. I like this team a lot. It might be terrible, though. There's a chance this team is dog shit. But honestly, intuition says no. Crowder, maybe I just drafted too much Mills one year. Maybe pre-draft before Stroud. To be overweight on Mills at any point in time is quite an accomplishment. Is there Chig news? No, but I think people are just wising up to how valuable he is. He's just been consistently moving up the board. He is, like, officially going above Gadsden now. And, like, when you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. There's not that many other targets in Washington right now. And the only one that's consistently going to be above him in the target tree is over the age of 30. Terry McLaurin had some injury problems last year, so unless they bring back Zach Ertz and that goes haywire, then I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm on the clock. I got a shit ton of Freiermuth, but I'm going to push it. I'm going to go Tank Dell. Yo, we're getting really risky today. Let's go Tank Dell right at ADP. He's running around. Will he stay healthy? I'm not sure, but I'm willing to click it because I've not been taking Jaden Higgins. And then for the discount, I think Tank Dell has higher upside than Jalen Knoll. So I will need another tight end. There's still 2 more rounds. I've got Puka, AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors, Quentin Johnston, Stephon Diggs. We're taking the gamble on Tank Dell, but similar to a lot of logic on this team, if it hits big. Go big or go home. But I'm going to stop with Jaden and Jackson Dart. Running back, I think, is definitely done. And then whiteout. The Dell click is risky, so I'll probably grab another one. But just trusting, like, these three staying healthy. And neighbors, like, maybe not. But I still have QJ and Diggs. Like, even if I miss 4, even 7 weeks with neighbors, that feels like way too much. But let's say September just doesn't count with neighbors. I kind of don't really care. I still have Puka and AJ. I think I'm fine. But you leave me Pat Fryermuth. Let's do that. I'll take that. Happily. That's why I didn't go Otten. I was willing to risk that Fryermuth still made it back. The Baker drafter passed, but the team at the turn did take him. And that's fair. Hunter Henry, TJ Hawkinson, Kate Otten. Hawkinson, maybe not the safest. Tight end 2. But Puppy next. You know it, Jedi. Definitely. Bukowski, I'm 100 miles south of the cities. Okay, so you're pretty close to the Iowa border. Okay. Little tip for you, Bukowski. Maybe you never venture into Iowa, but I promise you, you are not going to regret this meal. Someone that used to be married to my sister, my former brother-in-law, owns a restaurant in northern Iowa. Fertile, Iowa is the city, close to Mason City, so it's a bit of a drive. But I promise you this meal is not going to disappoint. The restaurant is called Cafe Mir. If anyone is in the northern Iowa, southern Minnesota area, or even, I suppose, western Wisconsin, if you're willing to venture on a drive out there, look up Cafe Mir, look up the menu, look up the reviews. I'm not lying to you, brother. I think you're going to have a very, very pleasant time visiting Cafe Mir, if you choose to, if you trust my suggestion, if you have the time. But Bukowski paid his dues in Minneapolis. If you can get out of there, get some extra open space. If you don't have to be in the Twin Cities, I understand why you'd leave. But if Darnell Mooney makes it back, I might just take Mooney. Because even if Neighbors is healthy, I might just be getting the number 2 receiver in New York. And in round 18, that's super valuable. Fuck it. It stacks. It's a hedge on Neighbors. Let's go Darnell Mooney at 212. All right, this team is interesting. This team is very interesting. But, yo, good night, Poohames. Appreciate you popping in. Hope you have a good one. And peace out. Poohames also says, Travis Hunter going to play all 11 positions on defense. Ain't no one scoring on Jacksonville. That's right. That is also correct. We'll see. But is Roundup going to be a regular on here? He's cool. He's a cool guy. I would gladly have him back on. It was his first ever appearance outside his channel, guest spot anywhere. So, it's going to be up to him and his schedule. Obviously, he's welcome to come back anytime. If I had to guess, we'll probably see him again. But at the moment, I can't guarantee anything. The man has his schedule, I have mine. But ideally, yeah, but pretty much in general, anyone that comes on the channel is usually always welcome back. There's never been anyone who's been banned, that's for sure. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see him again soon. And yesterday was a fun time. Had a good time drafting with Ryan from Fantasy Roundup. Rockhard Castle says, dude took Rodgers unstacked with a D-bag. Rock the party. You had Dowdle. Did you have anybody else? Oh wait, you're Rocco Jamaica. I think you're Rocco Jamaica, if I'm not mistaken. You had Metcalf. Rodgers went. Yeah, that's a bummer. You took Mendoza with Tucker. That is understandable, but bummer. If there's one I think can make it back, if I had to guess, it's Mendoza. Like, knowing that the Bowers team was behind you. Like, Game Tight had Bowers. He was at 109. I might have taken Rodgers first, Rocco. I might have preferred that. Unless you're the Pittman drafter. Where's the Pittman drafter? I don't think that's you. I'm pretty sure you're Rocco Jamaica. Anyways, I think Eagles is clearly we'll see. Let me catch up with the chat and then I'll recap my team. Jaden did make a lot of bad receivers look good his rookie year, and Chig is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you look at BTJ and Malik Neighbors' stats at LSU, holy shit. Anyone tied to Jaden Daniels is going to look good. Quincy, thoughts on Goofy Chicken stream earlier? I popped in for the final draft. Sentex likes to talk some shit, so had to school him in that third draft. I felt like I had a much better team than Sentex, not going to lie. So that was fun. Always a good time hanging out with Goofy Chicken. Always a fun stream. I had fun. I was locked in. I had a good time. Rock Hard Castle says, I was going to take a 5th RB, but that dude took unstacked Rodgers, so I had to take Washington to complete my Rodgerless stack. Bummer, bro. I mean, sometimes it's just a good value. Some people, like, if you were in a draft with Meg Schaup, Rodgers ain't making it back to you. Sometimes you just got to take the value. But Bukowski, heading to the Ozark in EPT. I'll check it out. I'm not sure where the Ozark is. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, if you happen to go there, have one of the waiters tell the chef that Adam Riancho sent you. Josh is in the kitchen there cooking up some amazing food out in Iowa. It probably sounds very odd. I'm sure it sounds a little suspect if you're just hearing it randomly. You want me to go to this random restaurant in Fertile, Iowa? You look at the population of Fertile, it's like maybe 500 people. Trust me, bro. Trust me. Quincy says Slayton over Mooney. Interesting. I mean, they keep paying Slayton. Maybe you're right, but if I recall, Mooney got a decent contract as well. Interesting. I kind of want to check that out now. What's the contract situation? Let's go to the New York Football Giants contracts. Let's isolate wide receiver, and then we will rank them by APY, average per year. Slayton, in terms of dollars spent, is the wide receiver one. Malik Neighbors on a per year average is actually number 2, but still on the rookie contract. And then Mooney only got $3 million guaranteed. Wow, that's actually a lot less than I would have guessed. Yo, my cat's still going a little wild. You know what? I mean, just looking at these contracts, man, maybe you're right. Maybe I should be taking Slayton, because almost every draft, Darnell Mooney goes. And I'm also kind of convinced that he's just like never getting hurt, getting healthy again. $3 million is kind of nothing. Calvin Austin at 1.5, and then Malachi Fields on a rookie contract. You know what? Looking at this, you might be right. You might be onto something, Quincy. Good call, but apologies for no dark mode. Sorry if I blinded you. I recognize it is late. I'll try and avoid that next time. But if you're looking for Rodgers last minute, it's not a dick move. Rodgers is worth a higher pick than 170. I'll say that. Rodgers is appropriately a value in the 170s. But which draft next are we doing? We're doing a puppy. We're only rocking puppies tonight, staying with the lower buy-ins this evening. But yo, what's up, Jiri? How we doing? If anyone hasn't checked out Jiri, shout out Jiri Football. Check him out on YouTube. Awesome streamer, friend of the channel. Always good vibes. We always draft teams that fuck with Jiri Football. He knows his shit. Knows ball. Quincy, Rodgers guy needed a third. Quarterback can't really blame him. Goofy stream was hilarious earlier. Yeah, that was a fun time. Definitely entertaining. J-Rock says got sniped on Lawrence. Tilt pivoted to Dowdle. That's fair. Daddle's a good click at the 7-8 turn. That's why I'll lose at this game, and I actually win money because you drafted unstacked Rodgers and 7 Tampa players. Tell him, Castle. Go in. But if Rodgers is your savior last minute, then nah, bro. So some differing opinions. Quincy Jones, Slayton equals last year's Wandale. Was Wandale going that late last year? Undrafted? He was going kind of late now that I think about it. Rocco flexing on us. Quincy, thanks for the blue light bomb. Yo, sorry, man. I have a filter. I have something called Dark Reader. It's a good extension, but unfortunately it hadn't been turned on in that website. So I promise I won't do that again. If I do, I'll turn it off as soon as I can. Sorry about that. I don't know if that's going to happen, YouTube channel. I would not take the Godwin side of that bet straight up. Tex is a character. Tex is a very interesting character. Shout out to Jiri to appreciate his streams as well. Yeah, definitely appreciate Jiri. Awesome dude in the space. Okay, let me tell you what my team looks like. We got Jaden Daniels, Jackson Dart, divisional correlation, but I don't believe they play each other in the fantasy playoffs. We got Jacobs, Tootin, Corum, Jones, Sharbs, and Bigsby. Go big or go home. It's worth the risk. Our receiver room can carry it with Puka, AJ Brown, and Neighbors. QJ, Stephon Diggs, hopefully stacked up in Washington. Tank Dell, hopefully healthy. And then Darnell Mooney, perhaps, should be Darius Slayton. But Chigo Conquo, Brenton Strange, and Pat Fryermuth, that is a fun team. Very legit, very valuable tight end core. Really top heavy, but solid depth at wide receiver too. The QJ click is worth the reach in my opinion. And then running back, perhaps terrible, but perhaps the key to take it home. Our quarterback room, very nice. A pair of JDs that run the ball. Possibly the most rushing yards in the NFL. Possibly 1 and 2 in terms of rushing yards this season. When you really think about it. Lamar actually doesn't run the ball anywhere near as much. And Allen gives you rushing touchdowns, but not as many rushing yards as once in the past. But are there any members in this one before I move on? I believe... I'm not sure there were... I think Game Tight... Yeah, Game Tight's in here. Otherwise, though, I think that's the only member. And for the sake of time, I'm only going to look at Game Tight's team for the team reviews. We got Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Can definitely work with that. Possibly the highest rushing yards in the NFL, but possibly not. Definitely, that's fine. Kyle Monungai, Rashad White, Keaton Mitchell. Yikes. Whoa. Whoa. Algier, B-Rob, Singleton, and Kamara. Whoa. I mean, is literally every single running back in this room just a backup? Like, is Rashad even the number one? He's the third down back. He's the 2-minute drill type of guy. Is Rashad even the starter? Whoa. This is bold, but hopefully some injuries pay off. Let's take a look at everything else. Jefferson stacked up. Flowers stacked up. Ladidi McConkey past ADP. Always a good click. Marvin Harrison worth the bet, I suppose. But yikes. Jordan Addison also stacked. And Surratt in the last round also stacked. Pretty legit. I guess this is round 17 though. To wait that long, though, for number 6 and stop there, perhaps it's overkill. Perhaps I might have preferred another receiver instead of Njoku. But Njoku could be the most valuable Chargers tight end. That would be worth it. You have Andrews stacked, and then you also have the elite of the elite. Tight end 1, Brock Bowers. So, fun team, but whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a red alert type of alarm. Running back build. Good luck here, man. If you advance with this shit, and you win it all. You deserve it. Good for you. But I can't say I am bold enough to build it like this. Not quite sure. But like we said, that's the only member in the live draft today. If I recall, nobody else made it in here. You needed to be notification gang to get in that early. So, Melk, what's up? Yo, yo, yo. All love for Jiri, absolutely. Just a few years ago, says C. Crowder, trying to find a best ball stream live was a chore. Now we have it just about any time. Yeah, it seems like unless it's like 3 a.m., you can always find one. But if you're on the West Coast and you wake up at 4 a.m., you can catch Chad Candles or someone like that. That's possible. Rock Hard Castle requests a roast of the Eagles team. Sure, we can do that. But I'm going to do it after I hop in. We're going to do it very quickly. And we will be joining this puppy in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. But best ball on call. Anthony likes the team. Got to respect an occasional 0 RB. I was not bold enough to fully commit myself. But it helps when you... Oh, we pulled the 101. Fuck yeah. It's about fucking time. Yo, I was waiting for something like this. Can I show you my fucking exposures in terms of picks? This is the average frequency. I uploaded this today. I've done 265 drafts. And the average distribution should be 22 picks at every fucking spot. Pick 5, one of my least favorite. I get 26 times. That's reasonable, but... The only one that's overweight is pick 11, other than these two. The amount of times I get pick 8 is fucking crazy, man. So to get pick 1 today, I am happy with it. Pick 1, pick 4, and pick 6. I cannot buy for the life of me. So give me pick 1. It's about fucking time. It's about fucking time. But Marcus says, what a running back room. Indeed. That's a bold one. Jahmyr Gibbs is my 101. Let's do that. But let me pull up that Eagles team for Rock Hard Castle. Rock Hard Castle did not request a team review of his own roster. He requested a team review of the man that sniped him. What did we just draft? A puppy 2? Yeah. Let's take a look. Eagles 76. Let me bring it in. He went Baker, Daniel Jones, and Aaron Rodgers right above ADP. He did do it unstacked. Just wanted the points, I suppose. But Bucky Irving, Chuba Hubbard, Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, those two are not good clicks, in my opinion. Ramondre might be better than I give Chuba credit for, but still not the most exciting. Gainwell stacks Sean Tucker, perhaps too much. He has all 3 Tampa Bay Bucks. That's too much. And then Emmett Johnson at 189. Whatever. All 3 Bucks. What's the point of that? At least in the backfield, it's not the way I want to do it. Give me one. If I'm taking Bucky, I'm not taking the other 2. If I'm taking Gainwell, I might take Tucker, but honestly, I'd rather take all of them like individually. Not together, all 3. But JSN, Drake London, Rashi Rice, Egbuka, and McMillan. Also Ted Hurst. Yeah, it's too many Bucks. Kayshon Boutte, Fannin, and Kincaid. Every single Buck, basically, other than Chris Godwin. Probably too much. But I'll be honest with you. If there's one pick I'm not that upset with, it's Rodgers. Rodgers is not what I think is like the big problem. I think you're just butthurt about it because it fucked over your team. But at least it's worth a laugh, right? Maybe he just doesn't like you. Maybe he just doesn't like you. Maybe it was actually personal, perhaps. But Julius in here at 6. What's up? We got a lot of friends and family. We got Rocco Jamaica in here at 2. Rock Hard Castle right next to me. He goes Jamar Chase at the 102. Game Tight gets Bijan at the 103. Soski's in here with Puka at ADP. Jackson Duffy took JSN at the 105. Rezdog took CMC. I think as long as you're not... It's worth the risk. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt, but I think he is correctly the running back 3, in all honesty. J-Rock the Party also in here. Not sure about Dead Prez if he's watching, but that's the only name I don't recognize. Super Beast, Keith is a member. Amos Ramos in here. What's up, Christian? Jedi Loco in at the 111, and then Hartman DMH 09 at the 112. Everyone but Dead Prez PK. Welcome. Nice to see you. At the 101, it would have been fantastic to get Bowers. It does not happen anymore. Bowers never falling to the bookend. But I have Gibbs. Rocco has Jamar. He goes Nico. So I'll take Pickens. I'm fine with that. And then I think I'm going to reach a little bit. I'm going to go Rashee Rice, actually. He's out of jail. And I'm at the 101. I'm at the bookend. I think you can do kind of whatever you want at the bookend within reason. You know, maybe not pull up Cam Scadaboo here. Maybe not, but he's not making it back, so I suppose you could justify it. Marcus, I've gotten 101 11 times out of 35 BBMs. The rich get richer. Thanks for bragging, making me feel bad. The fact that I have so many pick 8s, I think, is what's crazy about it. Like, pick 8 is just like what I expect at this point every single time. But best ball on call, about time for a rip. You know what, Anthony? I think you're correct. I think you're right. However, I will need to pack it. Jackson Duffy asking, what tool do you use to look at that pick number exposure? That is thesolver.com, and it's part of their free package. I do not pay for this. You can go to thesolver.com/bestballexplorer with hyphens. Here, no, not that one. Let me show you the URL. thesolver.com/best-ball-explorer. Log in, set up an account so it tracks it. You do not have to pay for it. If you want to pay for their other shit, you can, but I don't. And you can check your exposures with, honestly, it's pretty fun to look at teams under that lens as opposed to just the Underdog exposure tool, because you can see how much closing line value you got on ADP, like how many fallers as well. It shows you the team pairings. If you also want to look up like your bringbacks, it'll show you that. And then you can also look up combos. It's not the paid version, so it's not going to show up as your live drafting, but you can also just look into it, kind of do some research of your own on your own time. At least the free version of it, I recommend. I've never used the version that you pay for. I've never used the sim, as they call it. But Eagles is Rock Hard Castle's arch nemesis. That's definitely possible. At least an hour ago, he was. I am packing the bowl, though. What's up, Two Mules? Just in here. Cheers to you as well. Bro sniped me on the Kincaid stack. How do y'all feel about Kincaid? Sometimes I hate clicking him, and then other times I'm like, this might be a really good pick, actually. I kind of go back and forth, but I kind of lean that if I don't have Allen, I'm not dying to do it. I think he could fall a little bit. But Hartman took Allen in the 4th round. That's not bad. I am back on the clock, and I'm not going to lock myself into strictly a Jared Goff combo. I'm going to go Swift here. little swifty with it. And then we passed on him in the last one, but he's a fine pick. I'll go Quinchon today. I don't have much Quinchon, and perhaps the Gibbs Quinchon combo is not the most common. At least Swift and Quinchon is not that common. They're both 5th round picks, so unless someone is reaching on Swift in the 4th round, then it's just not really going to happen unless Quinchon just falls dramatically, and that never happens these days. So in that regard, 2 5th round picks in and of itself is a little bit more unique, and I'm not of the mindset that they can't pay off just a few picks above ADP. So we'll do that. Just a little bit different, maybe not the most shocking unique pairing, but I get the bring back Detroit versus Chicago week 17. Weather could be a problem, so it might be a very heavy run game. And then Quinchon's going to play in Cleveland week 17. The weather's going to be most likely dog shit. He thrived in a bad weather game. Granted, some of that was just positive game script. Their defense set him up near the goal line. But like I mentioned, I packed the bowl as per Anthony's request. It is time to take a hit. Christian just got JT and Achane. Yeah, I see that at the 10. That's pretty nice. That's sweet. That's not bad, but I've also seen it like at pick 6. I've seen Achane fall as well. Maybe it's not the most uncommon, but that probably feels pretty nice. You could have like 35 touchdowns between the two players potentially. Maybe closer to 30, maybe only like 27 or so, but Achane after Hampton off the board, after Saquon's off the board, totally a fair click. Yo, what's up, Anthony? How we doing? Rock Hardcastle does not know Eagles, but he knows you better than you know yourself. He's stalking you. He's stalking you inside your castle. Little do you know, there is a stalker in the midst. But yo, what's up, Keith? I see you in here at pick 9. You go cook your boy Chase Brown, T. Higgins. You get the Joe Burrow double sack. Love that for you. You have Luther Burden and DJ Moore. Not a bad start, not at all. Double Buffalo, double Cincy, and a Chicago whiteout with whom the coach is telling you to buy the stock. Definitely good click. But real quick, I'm checking the stream right now. We got 53 people watching, only 22 likes. We're on draft 2. If y'all want a third draft, can we get up to 40 likes? I think that's a fair request. If it was higher, maybe I wouldn't care, but can we double the likes? If we can get up to 44, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to ask for 40. Definitely enough people in here to ask that. If we get up to 40 likes, we will do a third draft after this one. Harrison circles back. I don't have much Harrison. I can tell you that. Don't have much of him. It's not a click I want to make. But I have the bring back, and is it really a shock at all? I'll just go Herbert QJ. They play Rashi in the final week, so I get the bring back. And who knows, maybe I can push Mahomes as the Rashi drafter. Maybe one of you guys is not interested in risking a naked Mahomes. But no crybabies, please. Typically that's not the case. But Jackson says, if I snipe Rocco, do I get a team review? Yeah, it seems like that's the currency, right? You either become a member or you just snipe Rocco to make him crash out again. Quincy, do you like Henry or Chase better? I like both of them, but I'm going to pin it down to the Week 17 matchup. That's where all the money's made. You're telling me I get the Bengals defense for Derrick Henry as opposed to the Jesse Minter Ravens defense? Like, even without Jesse Minter, the Ravens can stop the run. Their secondary can be questionable at times, but typically they stop the run pretty well. I love the matchup more. Give me Derrick Henry over Chase Brown. And the man who's proven to be healthier historically is Derrick Henry, especially in the fantasy playoffs. So I'd go Derrick Henry. I prefer Mr. Henry, or should I say King Henry, over Chase Brown. But I love my Bengals. Don't tell Leia. That's my stance. Anthony says Bowers would have been sweet. Honestly, once I saw Bowers still available when I pivoted off the board, I was like, sweet. If I could get Bowers at 24, I'd be super happy. But no, it didn't happen. Bowers at 21 makes a lot of sense. Quincy, I seem to be unable to get in my favorite YouTubers drafts anymore. I've been banished. Yo, I'm sorry, Quincy. I give it the countdown. Maybe you need to be part of the notification crew. Maybe you could have hopped into the early one. If you noticed in the first one, there weren't that many of y'all in the lobby. And it's because we clicked the button literally 30, 40 seconds after going live. So if that's what it's going to take, perhaps that's the way to get in here. Yeah, the solver is free. The extension, the sidekick tool, that you have to pay for. But at least what I was showing you, that is free. Have I seen Best Ball Muse, that website? I have not. I have not checked that out. Anime Playmat, not sure I've seen you before. Welcome to the channel. Said, did something happen that made Gibbs overtake Bijan in ADP rankings? I think it's just the nature of the best ball format. If you look at the high-end spike weeks on Gibbs, he has proven to have a slightly higher ceiling than Bijan. It's not that they're bad clicks, but I understand why it happens. I did not take Harrison. Shit, I'm on the clock though. Gotta lock in. I think in this group, I'd most like to have Josh Downs. I think so. And now the question is, do I bet on a quarterback making it back? We did not get Mahomes, obviously. Or do I take one here? I'm not going to take one here. I think I'm just going to go with Michael Pittman, actually. I'm going to take Pittman. I'm trusting my running back room. I have Gibbs, Swift, and Quinshawn. I don't think I need to force Gainwell here. Gainwell has started to get a little expensive. I still think he's a good pick, but maybe not as often when you just don't need him as much. And to fill out my bench with Kenneth Gainwell as opposed to my bench with Michael Pittman, I have to start more receivers minimum in a given week. So let's build out that depth with a player I trust. I'm not convinced that I'll have a receiver making it back to me at 120 that I'm going to feel good about. I have noticed quarterbacks have started to fall. I might be okay with a quarterback still available in the next round. It's not going to be Tyler Shuck, though. I definitely expect Game Tight to grab Tyler Shuck, unless the Jordan Tyson drafter does that. And maybe that happens, but we'll see. Game Tight has Travis and Olave. And typically Tyler Shuck, the reason I bring him up is because he is my backstop at the position. But I've noticed Baker's falling a lot lately. I took Baker earlier today at 128. Not really sure why that's the case, but I'll definitely take him down there. And if he's going to fall, I probably can get him at 120 or 121 if I need to. But Two Meals says, I finally fell off the wagon and rolled up a couple of lefties. It had been over 6 months. Feels nice. Feel bad about breaking promise to daughter and grandkids. Yo, if you have people in your life that you have responsibilities to, then that's one thing. But then if you also go 6 months, every now and then, maybe it's not the end of the world, but everyone's in a different situation. I'm glad it feels nice, but ask yourself this question. Does feeling bad about breaking a promise If that doesn't feel good, then maybe it's not worth it, you know? Maybe sometimes the relationships in our life are actually more valuable. But 6 months is longer than I go. Assuming we're talking about the same thing. I've never called a joint a lefty, though. I'll say that. I'm not accustomed to that term. I love Kincaid. He's a breakout candidate. Bills will throw the ball more. Fair point. He was going so much more expensive in the past. If he makes it to me here, I'll probably take him. Best ball on call. 2 mules, just tell them you didn't inhale. Right, yeah. There's always loopholes. High upset on Kincaid, in my opinion. If he's on the field, Allen targets him. That's accurate. It's a big if. Capital if is very, very intentional and very accurate. That's for sure. But 1 click away, I will get him here. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, wait. This is a round early. My mistake. Yeah. He would need to fall to the next round. I'm willing to take Kittle. Sure. Question is, how do we build up the rest of it? You know what? I said it. I spoke it into existence. Let's grab Dalton Kincaid. We're going to need 3 tight ends. Let's go George Kittle and Dalton Kincaid here at the turn. Let's take y'all's opinion. I mean, both of these tight ends, if they're on the field, have high upside. But at least week 1, I would assume that Kincaid will be on the field. And Kittle's ahead of schedule, reportedly. Not sure how ahead of schedule, but we'll find out. John Tara saying the EVs in this overflow are ridiculous. Loveland in the 3rd and Lamar in the 4th unstacked. I suppose you're in a different lobby because Lamar definitely, yeah, you're in a different lobby. Jesus asks, am I doing another draft after this? Didn't make it in this one. If we hit 40 likes, we're at 33 at the moment, 58 watchers. So 7 more people need to hit the like button. I haven't done it yet. So in theory, only 6 need to do it. I can put us over the top if need be. But if y'all want a 3rd draft, we need 40 likes on the video. We'll do another puppy for $5. But Anthony says debating on doing another 8-hour BBM again. Oh, the 8-hour clock. Right. Probably not bad. Probably not a bad call. In Best Ball Mania, sometimes people feel the pressure when at a $25 buy-in, when you really think about the chance of making $2 million, sometimes, you know, the pressure cooker is kind of on. So to give yourself a little extra time to make that pick every now and then, maybe not a bad idea. But I am strictly fast drafts typically. So far, I haven't done a single slow draft, but Disbanded says blaze it, and I got to this comment kind of late. So you know what? Let's blaze it again. Let's blaze it now as well. If I had to guess, you said this when we blazed it the first time. All right, we got 41 likes, so we've locked in officially our 3rd draft, and we are in the 12th round. So just after halftime in this puppy, we locked in draft number 3. Now, there are a ton of you in this draft with me, literally at least 10, if not all 11 other spots are viewers. So in a situation like this, if you do not have a membership, I think it's limited access, kind of first come first serves on requested team reviews. But we will do Keith's team. He's Super Beast. Game Tight also gets a team review. Jedi Loco gonna get a team review, and then I believe that might be it. Oh no, Hartman is also getting a team review. So that's 4. I don't want to do more than 5. So if somebody else wants a team review, you got to lock it in. First come, first serves. There's one other team review I'm willing to do if you would like it, but I'm not going to review all 10 other rosters. Not today. Sweet. I get Daniel Jones. So the Josh Downs selection does pay off. That's pretty sweet. And then, interesting, the Jalen Coker fall is pretty solid here. I'm glad I went double tight end because we don't even get Okonkwo back, and I don't really want to take Strange at the moment. So I will just scoop up the full round discount on Jalen Coker. Let's do that. I could have, in theory, grabbed Bryce Young and Jalen Coker, but I think Daniel Jones is more valuable than Bryce Young by quite a big margin. So I will do that. ADP 132, we take Coker 145, and then we stack up Daniel Jones right at ADP with Josh Downs. Not bad at all. Marcus says, just stack any team playing the Dolphins in the playoffs, Packers, Chargers, Bills. The thing about taking the Packers, though, they get the Texans week 17. That's not the matchup I really want. Week 15 is valuable. Week 15 matters. Obviously, week 16 matters a ton as well. You can't get to week 17 without winning in week 16. So that's pretty sweet. Bills, though, I think get the most bump for sure. So absolutely, draft your Bills. We took Kincaid. We did take a Bill on this one. Quincy says, Best Ball Muse equals website. You can search people's underdog names and see their history, like exposure and stuff. It's really, oh, interesting. Sounds like BBMDB, but you don't need to like scan through every team individually. It has like the percentages. That is interesting. What's up, Disbanded? How we doing? How we doing tonight? Fantasy Fitness says, what's going on? Nice and blunt. Running back room is fire. Appreciate it, man. Anytime you get Gibbs, it's lit. And then we have an interesting... Yo, my cat keeps like swatting at this paper bag every time I look back in like questionable mode. That's what's going on. Leia's in a mood tonight. But Hartman says, Best Ball Muse looks at your data for the last 3 BBM seasons, best/worst picks, injuries. Yo, maybe we do that for a little members only stream, because I feel like it's time we do a members only. It's middle of June. I don't think I've done one since late May, so it's definitely time for members only. We've had a bunch of members join the channel recently, so absolutely want to give back and say thank you with a members only exclusive. And let me know in the chat, would you be interested in a, shout out Peter Overzet, a Best Ball Bash type of members only stream? I saw Toxic Tower did that earlier today. We can spin the wheel, and if y'all want to join, we can pass the mic to someone watching. If you're a member, you probably know your shit, so I'd be willing to do that. Let me know if there's any interest in the live chat right now. Just glad to be here. So am I, brother. So am I. C. Crowder, on a lighter note, hoping I can win one of these tournaments to not have any more drug tests. Yeah, the being on the job market, having drug tests be a part of the equation, that definitely sucks. Disbanded, always pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side. Right. Pass the Dutchie from the left-hand side. You know it. Shout out Mr. Marley. 2 mules in a cart on the plus side because my body no longer had that built-in resistance, was gone, and the high now is reminiscent of when I first toked. Yeah, the tolerance break is underrated. At the very least, taking a break for tolerance purposes. Very, very underrated. When you come back, holy shit. Oh, wow. Sweet. We pushed Bryce Young. He made it back. So I will take the fall in price. Definitely just going to scoop that up. Tank Bigsby is not available. Would have been happy to take him. My original plan was to go Rodgers. I don't need a fourth quarterback. If anything, I kind of need running back here. So I think Sean Tucker would make some sense. Trey Harris stacks up, however, and I have Gibbs. I can perhaps push it and get away with it. We're going to go Trey Harris for the stack. I got QJ, Trey Harris, and Justin Herbert. At the moment, Ladd McConkey has a hamstring injury, and he's probably fine, but hello. Trey Harris, perhaps league-winning pick, especially with the bet on Herbert. Dean Johnson video says Kincaid has one game above 15 points, half PPR in his career, 9 above 10 in 41 games. Yes, he does have some interesting spike week capabilities. He doesn't really score many touchdowns, though. He's kind of a between the 20s type of guy, and then you're kind of just hoping that he breaks one because the defense got caught slacking. But he was a first-round pick. His college stats have some massive spike weeks. If they choose to overwhelm him with targets, just an avalanche randomly, wouldn't be entirely shocked. And injury risk is kind of the only argument against it. So I typically don't reach on him. I kind of take him at a falling price, but odds are I would not have gotten him back. Hartman mentioned him, I believe, briefly. Right? Did you say something? I'm not sure, but I know Hartman's in this chat and he has Josh Allen. So odds are Hartman was in the market himself. And the 101 at the bookend, you can reach on someone because odds are they do not make it back. We did get the fall on Bryce Young. At this side of the board, how many Coker Bryce Young teams are there going to be? You know, like at least with this price as well. Because Coker almost like exclusively goes on the right side of the board. He did fall today, but like typically I don't see Coker past pick 140. So to be at the 101 and have Gibbs, if Coker's also a piece that you need that week, like what if they have like a game like they did against the Rams in the playoffs? During the playoffs, maybe this year it happens. Who knows? If Coker hypothetically is the guy you need, him and Bryce Young are possibly not going to be as often paired with someone like Gibbs. But this late down the board, a fall like that is definitely more realistic to happen. So it's definitely not the only instance it's ever happened. But I was a little surprised I got Bryce Young here at 168. Not going to lie. The Tedero McMillan drafter had Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold. They took Hunter Henry and Zach Charbonnet. Oh, no, they took Charbonnet and McMillan over Bryce Young. I understand that. The fall on McMillan, I think, was worth it. But to lock in Charbs as RB4, might have just felt some pressure there. Walker, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins, and Charbonnet at RB. I doubt if I pushed Bryce Young again, I would have gotten him back. So happy to take him. Here we're going to go K-Tron for sure. I need a running back no matter what. I also need a tight end, and I could go Freiermuth. However, if I go with Njoku, I further bet on the stack. Did Njoku come off the board, though? Yes, he went at 187 to Res Dog. That makes Freiermuth like the clear pick at tight end. Question is, I think I'm done at receiver. Yeah, I think receiver is good enough to stop there. With Kittle, I definitely want a third, and I could just push Tonjes, but who knows? Tonjes might not make it back. Freiermuth, I think, is a better bet than Tonjes. Tonjes is a hedge. Freiermuth, we have an extra bullet in the chamber instead of just the Niners tight end. But maybe Kittle won't be the guy you need this year. Maybe it's Tonjes. But I've noticed I'm actually kind of underweight on Kittle, and he's going so late. It's worth the bet. If he's healthy when it matters most, Kittle can definitely be the tight end 1 in week 17 that you do need. So this is a fun team. This is an interesting build. I'm done at receiver unless I could just stop there at running back. We have Gibbs, Swift, Judkins, and Katron Allen. Could I just stop at 4? We'll see. But Julius coming in first with the team review. Remind me, Julius, which team are you? Are you Sosky, Julius? Christian is at the 10. J-Rock would also enjoy one. Finn's defense will be better than expected, so good luck with that. Yeah, Julius, I apologize for forgetting you're a member, but which team? So I'll do Julius, and then since Christian is the first non-member, we'll also take a look at 10. So that's going to be 6. I may not have time, J-Rock. Might move on, just because that's a lot. For the sake of time, I'm not going to spend the world. Milk. Yo, are you in here, Milk? Oh, no, we're talking about the members only thing. Yeah, okay, right. Hell yeah, definitely. Peppertoni, quick fix by Spectrum Labs. It's always funny when you read something that is like clearly not intended for you, but like with the same intention that it was. Like, totally thought this was for me. Milk, drug tests. I work for a law firm and I'm higher than a giraffe pussy right now. Slayton goes, Jackson takes Darius Slayton. I don't think I was going whiteout, so not sure I would have taken him, but honestly, it does make sense to take Slayton. But I think I'm going to grab a running back here. I like Damon Claiborne. Apparently, he's Gibbs 2.0. I could go James Conner, though. But if Conner signs somewhere, it's probably in Detroit, backing up Gibbs. I'll take Damon Claiborne. I will take the rookie. The little mystery box with the rookie. The Vikings backfield is definitely up for grabs if Jones goes down. I don't believe in Jordan Mason that much to believe that Claiborne is not going to be on the field. Because the thing about Claiborne, he has back-to-back college seasons with over 20 receptions. I believe it was 23 and 28 the last 2 years. Just shy of 50 catches in the last 2 seasons. And if you track rookie college prospects at the running back position, the 20 reception threshold is what you kind of need to clear to really consider them viable in that department. So I believe in Claiborne's third down ability if and when Aaron Jones goes down. So he will mix in on the field, especially I think in the 2-minute drill. I think that's going to be really where he eats. And he has the speed, he has the breakaway capability that maybe he's just going to be more effective and just better on a per touch basis than Jordan Mason. I would still expect Mason to get the bulk of the carries, but I don't think Claiborne is going to disappear. And Jones is very old. He could go down early. We might get more games where Claiborne's relevant. And then if that happens as well, if Jones doesn't come back, if it's like a season-ending injury, then maybe Mason gets a little overloaded on top of that. Maybe it compounds and the touches end up in the freshest legs in Minnesota with Damon Claiborne at the end of the season. You want the Vikings offense, week 17. They're at the Jets. That's going to be a blowout against New York. So I like the Damon Claiborne bet, but If I didn't have Gibbs and I didn't assume that Connor could go to Detroit, most likely destination, then I probably wouldn't have taken him. Like, just the handcuff with Gibbs, I'd rather just bet that Gibbs stays healthy. And maybe Connor is going to be more valuable, though. Connor is a fine click with the last pick overall. Yeah, Hartman definitely would have taken Kincaid for sure. Call your shot, but opportunity cost is a thing. Yeah, there's a reasonable amount of picks to reach, and as long as they are not making it back to you, I think you're fine to take whoever you want. But take risk. It's a $5 draft. Yeah, absolutely. Willing to get a little bit riskier in a $5 draft. But Jantara says Tonjes is good, but he's not keeping even a 75% Kittle off the field. Accurate. Very accurate. But he also proved enough where he also might have some standalone value even when Kittle's healthy. But Julius is res dog. Good to know. We'll definitely take a look. All good. The voice got dry. I appreciate you're the only channel that does team reviews. That's huge to us. Whohames does it as well, and that's where the inspiration comes from. Definitely, if you appreciate the team reviews, draft with Whohames as well. Definitely agree, says Jantara. Melk missed the last draft. Think it filled too quick, but I did just finish. Hope I get in the next one with y'all. Dean Johnson, I think the Vikings aren't married to a running back, and Claiborne could just win the job. Yeah, he has the talent to deliver, and if the touches just wind up in his lap, he will run away with the job. No pun intended, but just like literally, he is way faster, way more dynamic, and just like explosive than Jordan Mason. And I think the Vikings are like begging Jordan Mason to take the helm from Aaron Jones. I think they would really like to move off of Aaron Jones, to be honest. He was their best running back, though, last year by quite a big margin. It's a contract season for Mason, so perhaps he really delivers. I'm willing to click all three of them, but on a team like this, where you have Gibbs, Swift, and Judkins, definitely a valuable piece with Claiborne. So Katron, also an interesting bet. The RB's threes that actually might be the most valuable in their respective backfields. The Washington, Minnesota price tag is very cheap when it comes to the top options. Those top two are both going in round 11 in both cities. Quarterback, though, we got my boy Justin Herbert. He's going to be the MVP this year. He is absolutely worth pick 72. Daniel Jones was the steal of the draft last year, and I like to bet on Shane Steichen. He's healthy right now, so why not take him? Bryce Young at a nice discount, a full round. He is also stacked with Jalen Coker. I have Josh Downs for the Daniel Jones stack, and then I have QJ and Trey Harris with Herbert. I also have Rashee Rice for the bring back in LA week 17. But running back feels very strong with Gibbs, Swift, and Quinshon Judkins. Running back, we waited till the very end. Final two clicks on Katron Allen and Damon Claiborne. Very fun, exciting rookie swings. Claiborne, very different profile from Katron. Katron doesn't have the speed, but he has the talent to definitely operate like Chris Rodriguez did in that offense. I think JCM can absolutely lose the job to Katron Allen. Rashad will maintain the third down role, but Katron can absolutely become the goal line back, and that's what you want in the Commanders offense. Receiver, pretty balanced in rounds 2 and 3. We take George Pickens and Rashee Rice. We might have the alpha in Dallas. He actually outscored Lamb last year, but an injury played a factor. And then Rashee is just worth a third-round pick. No ifs, ands, or buts. Definitely worth a third-round pick. I am fine taking him at pick 101, 25th overall. Quentin Johnston for the bring back and the Herbert stack. Then we go Josh Downs and Michael Pittman for the volume. I think, while maybe they're not the most explosive players in their offense, I need targets, I need catches, and at this price, I'm comfortable knowing what I'm going to get. I think they're very valuable picks. Sometimes they fall later, But at the 8-9 turn, very competent selections. No problem with that. We get Coker at a 13 pick full round. So an interesting side of the board. And then we also get him stacked. That's really nice. And then Trey Harris, possibly one of the most valuable picks on the board. If he just slides in the Keenan Allen role, he might have 90 targets coming his way this season. And in the Mike McDaniel offense, that is super valuable. But that might be asking too much. I think he'll have his weeks, though, where he's definitely the one you want. Kittle, just hoping he gets healthy earlier than expected. But Kincaid can hold down the fort, especially alongside Freiermuth. Good floor plays. Valuable tight end 2, tight end 3. Like elite upside and then very consistent floor with maybe underrated touchdown production. A lot of targets for these two. And then once Kittle gets healthy, we might have a top 3 tight end any given week. So very fun team. I like this one a lot. And I've mentioned on the team reviews, we've looked at some 101s, teams with Gibbs, and very often they have the Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff combo. I've reviewed many teams at the 101 with Gibbs that are just a little bit overbuilt on Detroit and Philly. The board kind of lines up that way, the easy Mekhi Lemon selection. And I have a ton of Herbert. I don't have a ton of him with Gibbs. So give me a Herbert Gibbs team all day. This team is fun. I like this one a lot. But I'm going to speed through the team reviews. Let's try and go as quickly as possible. We got Game Tight in here with Jaden, Tua, and Penix. Very inexpensive, and both Falcons, you'll at least have someone every week. But Jaden is what the bet is. Very inexpensive way to tackle Atlanta. Both of them stacked with Bijan, so definitely viable. The bring back with Travis makes plenty of sense. Kyle Monangai, valuable past ADP. I would take him too. Mason in Minnesota. I'm willing to click all of them in Minnesota, so viable for sure. And then an insurance policy with Brian Robinson. If Bijan goes down, he's a top 10 play, but also enough standalone value worth taking. I've seen him fall lately, though. I've noticed he's actually kind of a consistent faller as of late. Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin is stacked. JMO, Marvin Harrison at 75, worth it, but very risky. Concepcion at 123, solid. I prefer taking him later, to be honest. Antonio Williams above it. Damn. A reach on Antonio Williams. I would have let him fall. I would have risked him not making it back. You already have Terry. You have Chig as well. I think you overspent on Antonio Williams. If they sign Stephon Diggs tomorrow, Antonio Williams might go undrafted. He will fall down the board slowly just because the auto picks, but you'll know it's a bad pick. So I'm not willing to take him at 147. Not going to lie, Antonio. Would have played the board. At least at ADP, I would have been more interested. But I guess your next pick was 166. I would have pushed it for sure. Branch is also stacked. So is Jahan Dotson. So you did get some Falcons receivers. And then Laporta with Chig. Very competent tight end room. I like receiver, but Antonio Williams was an overspend. I think, given you have both Falcons, I think I would have rather taken a running back instead of Antonio Williams. And that way, well, who'd you pass on is the question. I'm just curious. Where the fuck is it? Okay. Antonio Williams over Charbonnet. I'd rather take Charbonnet, honestly. Bigsby also went off the board in that turn. I'll take Bigsby over Antonio Williams. I might even take Pacheco over Antonio Williams. So that's my take. I think you overspent on Antonio. I'm Omar Cooper. I'm Denzel Boston over Antonio Williams. I'm Trey Tucker over Antonio Williams. I'm Jalen McMillan over Antonio Williams. even Trey Harris over Antonio Williams. So, yeah, that's the click I really don't like. Otherwise, pretty solid. But ResDog, right? That's Julius. Let's take a look at ResDog. He has Drake May, Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey stacks up. Breece Hall at pick 30. Worth it at that point just to get different, but still probably overpriced. Travion at 54. That's okay. Definitely solid. C-Rod, not afraid at 126. Dylan Sampson, Jordan James, the hedge on CMC, but final click, I suppose. No issue with that. A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, the bring back and stack in San Fran. Jaden Reed, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Golden. Love the Packers clicks, especially past ADP on Golden. I take a lot of Matthew Golden. Juwan Jennings, kind of mid, but at 163, definitely more appropriate price tag. Elijah Surratt, final click, totally good with that. And then Gadsden, Strange, and Njoku, all 3 week 7, but at tight end, who cares? You're getting the Chargers tight end every week, and Strange. Not bad. You do eat the bagel though. And honestly, there's weeks where Gadsden and Njoku are neither of them are going to give you more than like 4 points. There's going to be some weeks where they both disappear. So hopefully Strange scores a touchdown that week. Pretty good team. The A.J. Brown stack. Oh, right. He's not in Philly anymore. Not a bring back, just a double stack. Yeah, good fun team. Definitely build out New England and San Fran pretty well. Good luck with Breece, though. That pick scares me. I don't like taking Breece at all. We have Super Beast in here. What's up, Keith? Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams. That's pretty solid. Caleb at 81. Damn. That's really nice. He's also stacked up with Luther Burden. Love that you pushed it and it paid off. Very, very nice. T. Higgins and Chase Brown. This is a good team. We got James Cook, Brown, and Tyrone Tracy. So falls off fast. Maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon. Woody Marks, Jonah Coleman, and Emmett Johnson. Yikes. I don't like these three. I don't click these three anymore. So, good luck. But scares the shit out of me. And then Tracy is at ADP, only 2 picks above. Woody is 7 picks above ADP. I don't like that at all. I think you may have needed to spend a little bit more on RB3. I think it would have been worth it. And then you can wait a long time, like I did, and not feel as scared about this. Because Tracy might be really, really not worth this pick anymore if Scadaboo is indeed quite healthy. But some people are still fading Scadaboo. That's the only reason to keep up the Tyrone Tracy price. I don't like it. I don't like it at 129. Higgins, Luther Burden, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Pearsall, Romeo Dobbs, and Skylar Bell. Very good receiver room as expected. Honestly, you could have maybe even stopped at 6, but Skylar Bell, final round, totally fine with that. Johnson, Barner, and Helm, very good clicks in half PPR. So it's just these 3 running backs that I don't like. Everything else looks great. It's just these 3 RBs. I wish you the best of luck, Keith. Good luck to you. Jedi Niner in here. Dak Prescott and Patty Mahomes. Worth stopping there. Not afraid with that. And then pick 83 on Prescott with CeeDee Lamb and Javonte. That's pretty nice. We got Saquon, Javonte, Price, Pacheco, and Kamara. That's solid. I have been talking myself into Charbonnet lately, so I could see Jadarian fall down the board a little bit if that starts to pick up collective steam. But CeeDee Lamb, Lad McConkey, Carnell Tate, Shakir, Naylor, Tank Dell, Mooney, and Cooper Kupp. These 4 scare me a little bit, but Shakir, you know what you're getting. Tate could have a breakout. You have the elite with CeeDee Lamb. He better stay healthy. And then Ladd is a very good receiver too. So I think you're actually very much counting on these 3. And then these 5, I don't see that consistent contribution. So the receiver room scares me a little bit. You have Kyle Pitts and Travis Kelce and Jake Ferguson. So you did stack up Ferguson. I see. Okay. This is where Kyle Pitts becomes kind of a problem. This is where Kyle Pitts, if he doesn't pay off the price, might have been a bad pick. I think grabbing a receiver there instead of Kyle Pitts, or at least one receiver instead of one of these 3 tight ends, would give me a little bit more faith and confidence in the receiver room, because I think having a Romeo Doubs would be pretty valuable. Same with Wandale, but I think Matthew Golden gives you like the hope and the prayer that like you really hit and crush in a way that, you know, allows you the risk later on. I think that's how I kind of would have preferred to play it, because like you could still get Juwan Johnson instead of Jalen Naylor and have a really lit tight end room. Like, you're telling me Matthew Golden and Juwan Johnson is less valuable than Kyle Pitts and Jalen Naylor? I am on the other side of that. I'm in the camp, or at the very least, Matthew Golden instead of Travis Kelce, or even Stephon Diggs instead of Jake Ferguson. Like, I think with Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce, and Jake Ferguson, there were clicks at receiver I might have liked to make, at least in one of those instances. I'm not saying you had to pass on Pitts specifically, or Kelce specifically, or Ferguson, but I would have liked to see him a little better with one more receiver before Stephon Diggs comes off the board. Lastly, though, I'll take a look at Hartman. He's a member, and then we did also get Amos Ramus, our top request. Then we're drafting him the last puppy. Hartman goes Allen, Bo Nix, and Rodgers. Not afraid of the 3 quarterbacks. A nice price on Rodgers there at 181. Is it stacked with Jeremy Bernard? Worth it at that price. He's a very good value. But running back, the elite year 2 breakouts with Genty and Hampton. Hampton should be going above Genty, but back-to-back is fair. Jonathan Brooks, the strong bet on the breakout. Tyjae Spears getting better coach speak than Singleton right now. And then Tyler Algier, not bad at running back at all. The bet with these 2, definitely worth it. If this hits, it's going to be really valuable. And then these 2, maybe not my favorites, but solid, not terrible, but I kind of have been betting against them. I've wanted them to fall, and it seems that they're starting to move up the board. At least Tyjae starting to move up just slightly. Algier, though, starting to fall enough where I'm getting interested. He could fall a little further, if you ask me, though. Zay Flowers, Rome Odunze, BTJ, Sutton, Stephon Diggs, Jeremy Bernard, Dontavian, and Keon Coleman. Pretty solid with that. No real complaints. I think the pocket of the 5-6 turn at wideout is really, really valuable, especially at pick 12. So I think double tapping wideout right there is awesome to already have your quarterback not have to worry about missing out on the value. With Allen, super smart. And then anytime you take round 4 Allen, it feels so much better. Tight end has Kraft and Andrews. That's getting it done. No issue with that. So really only 2 clicks I'm not in love with is Tyjae and Tyler Algier, but I don't hate it. I'm not upset with it. I prefer Bigsby, though, above both of them. That is my personal take. Who knows? I might be wrong. At least week to week, you probably get more touches with Tyjae and Algier. True upside, though, give me Bigsby. But it's just a different skill set, different type of way to play the position. Lastly, though, Amos Ramus, this one with Dart at 87, Goff at 111, and Geno. Geno's not fun. Yikes. But Dart and Goff, that's great. So just points, definitely solid. Taylor Achane, you like that when it started. It's definitely a fun combo. Good little pairing. Not the one of them has to fall by a combined 4 picks. So definitely fun. Rashad, Keaton Mitchell, and Bigsby, very high upside in the handcuff department. Keaton, though, is basically offering, in my opinion, some of the same value as Bigsby, and he's much more expensive. But you also reached on Bigsby. Okay, maybe this is why some other teams didn't have Bigsby. He went well above ADP, but at the correct price. If not, he could maybe even go higher. Neighbors, not afraid. I like it. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Alec Pierce. Really good fall on Adams at 58. And then Tesla, Judy, A.D. Mitchell, and Malachi Fields. The Geno Smith click makes way more sense now in context with A.D. and Garrett Wilson. It is a fair decision, I suppose. It is correct there. But Tyler Warren, Isaiah Likely, good tight end room as well. Totally worth the risk. The Keaton Mitchell pick is maybe the only one I don't like. Otherwise, it's just Jerry Jeudy. I definitely don't want to take Jeudy above ADP. Tesla also well above ADP. That's interesting. I guess a couple reaches here that typically I'm not going to make. But all right, that's going to be it for the team reviews. And then I think in this last draft, I don't think we're doing any team reviews. Not going to lie. I think this last one might be it. But I'll give you all a chance to hop in with me. We have 61 watchers. I really appreciate it. We're going to take a rip from the pipe and then hop in. As soon as I'm back, I will do a 5-second countdown and we will hop in. The delay is only 5 seconds. So that's basically your cue. All right, here we go. I hope you're ready. We're drafting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 6 spots. You know it, Jedi. We are in it. And we get the 101 again. Hell yeah. You know what? We're getting closer to 22. We're getting closer to the average. It's no longer going to rank in the bottom 3. Our 101 exposure has tonight increased to 19 overall pick distributions on the season. Very happy with that. Do I go with Gibbs again? I know if we were Jiri, we would do that. Jiri has a massive exposure to Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm definitely behind the average at this pick. So I'm just going to take whoever is there at the 101. I will just take Gibbs. I'm not going to deviate. Let's just bet that we get the 102 consistently as well. Could just mix it up just for the sake of having different teams on the draft on the live stream. But nah, going to stick with ADP. Give me Gibbs again. We'll just take some other different selections, hopefully, throughout this build. Like, I'm not going to pair him with Herbert on this one. I've accomplished that. I definitely was underweight on Herbert with Gibbs overall. But Crowder, Claiborne's tape is really good. Worried about his size, but they don't have much there. Yeah, the competition is not good enough to feel like he can't overcome the adversity. Crowder says Trey Harris could really work out this year. One of my highest drafted. His price is the most attractive receiver, in my opinion. I would agree. I think he's drastically mispriced. Like, he should probably go closer to where he went last season. Like, if you told me he outscores Matthew Golden this year, that would be kind of shocking, but I don't think it's impossible. Like, legitimately, I think he could be more valuable than Khalil Shakir, who goes off at, like, what, pick 135? Like, really? That's impossible? He's a 12th round value going at pick 171, 172? I think he could be 40 picks more valuable, maybe even 50. I have also one of the highest exposures to Trey Harris. He's close to my most drafted pick overall. I think he is my most drafted wide receiver. Let me verify that, honestly. You can pull up your exposure as well here. Let me scroll up. We got portfolio exposure. This is in terms of all of my money spent, all 265 drafts. Wide receiver, Trey Harris is number 1. I've spent 25%. I've drafted him 68 times. We took him a 69th time just now, earlier today. If not, he was on both my teams. So the only player I've drafted more than Trey Harris is actually Tank Bigsby. 82 times with Tank Bigsby. We're coming up on 70 teams with Trey Harris. I've actually taken him more than I've taken Justin Herbert. Just barely. But Brees is good. I get the Jets, but are you not taking him? I'll mix him in. He has to fall to me, though. It has to be past ADP. Because legitimately, I think he might be less valuable than Cam Scatterboo. Legitimately, I think he's a really bad pick. Anthony, good luck tonight. Have a good one. Enjoy your shift and get some rest, homie. Get some rest. Christian Ramos, out on Woody Marks? Yes. I do not take Woody Marks. I ended up with a baller team here, says Rock Hardcastle. I don't think we had the time to check it out. Quincy, man, you're going to need another bowl hit after all these reviews. I already did it. You predicted the future, Quincy. Quincy Nostradamus Jones knows what's going to happen. Members got you working overtime tonight. Honestly, I don't mind it. I like doing the long streams, and it allows me to think about other players than the ones that I just draft. Like, it allows me to see, like, is there a spot where, you know, maybe I kind of wish I did take that player. Here I'm going to take Rashee Rice for sure. I think he's definitely the pick. I kind of want to just... Actually, no. I will take Pickens, and then I will get his Week 17 bring back with Neighbors. I'll get the bring back. Cowboys hosting the Giants, Week 17. We'll do that. It's already different. But I was about to go Rashee Rice and Neighbors. Had I gone Rashee, it would have given me the excuse again to go Herbert. And here, I get the bring back. I have the excuse to go with like a Dak and Jackson Dart team if I would like. That would be different than the last team. So let's do that. But Keith, I live in the Dave Montgomery is always dinged up. I would make a significant bet he's a candidate to play approximately 10 games, especially if they try to make him a bell cow. Woody may produce again. Here's the thing. Woody did not spike in a way that mattered other than once. Only once. And it was like his first game where they relied on him. It was like the element of surprise, I think, is the more reasonable factor there. Nobody had any film on Woody Marks in the NFL. So I just don't think even if he slides in as the guy randomly that it's actually that valuable. I just didn't believe he was good enough when he had the job to be worth that pick. I'd rather have Tank Bigsby. Like, you're telling me that you're betting against Dave Montgomery to stay healthy? Like, I'm also betting against Saquon to stay healthy. Which one would be more valuable in that instance? Maybe you really trust Saquon, but to tell me that Woody Marks in Houston behind that O-line would have more value than Tank Bigsby behind the Eagles O-line. If we're talking contingent value, Tank Bigsby all day. So why would I take Woody Marks over Tank Bigsby if I feel that way? That's my argument. Everyone is kind of just measured versus Tank Bigsby because honestly, I think you can almost measure Tank Bigsby versus Blake Corum. You know, they have things in common. I get why Corum's going way above him, but like once we enter backup territory, really? You want the Texans contingent plan? Fuck that. We're playing best ball. The chances of that are less than 8% that Woody's the guy you need. Way less than 8%. Quincy Jones, you think Malachi Fields is a good prospect? He's okay. I'm not confident enough in John Harbaugh, Matt Nagy depth piece receivers, like rookies, to really deliver. I think if he had gone to a different team, then maybe I would be more optimistic that he could develop quickly enough. But I think then bringing in Odell Beckham, Juju Smith-Schuster, and who was the other one? I already forgot the other one. Braxton Berrios. Like, the only one that'll probably stay there is Berrios, but like I think and he'll be like special teams type of guy. I think earlier tonight I was talked into Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton gets paid $12 million. Fields is okay, but I think I would trust Darius Slayton more, honestly. I'm going to start drafting Darius Slayton probably. I have Gibbs, so the bring back with Loveland does make sense. Whether I get what's his face or not, Caleb or not. So maybe I don't take Swift on this one. That's who we took for the bring back on the last one. And then here, maybe with Neighbors, my receiving core needs a little bit more help, but I think we're really going to miss out on running back if we pass. So, in all honesty, Swift is the guy I like the most. I'm just going to stick to the rankings. I'll take Loveland instead of Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, we'll go double Chicago instead of Chicago-Cleveland. That feels better. The Ben Johnson revenge game should be lit. In Chicago, Goff is not the same player in the wind. The elements can definitely slow him down at times. So the bet on Gibbs in that game is just being the piece you need. I'm not going to take Goff on this one. I'm not going to build out Jamo, Laporta, and Goff. I'm not going to take Tesla. I think when I have Gibbs, I've seen a lot of Gibbs Goff teams. I'm just gonna bet on Gibbs alone. Gibbs and Gibbs alone. Perhaps the touchdowns will all be in the passing game, but maybe Goff just sucks in that matchup. Maybe the win gets to Goff in January. Christian, appreciate you, Blunt. Yeah, I panic pressed Keaton. His price has gotten too expensive. The argument is fun. You have to pay a very hefty Chargers tax, and I'd rather pay it on other guys. I'd rather just pay it on Hampton. I don't think Keaton is worth it. I'd rather either pay it on Hampton or mix in Kimani Vidal just as much as Keaton Mitchell, if not more. If you don't believe in Hampton, be my guest, more for me. But I'm not playing the Chargers through Keaton Mitchell unless I'm hedging and kind of drafting scared. But you want to go big or go home in LA, give me Hampton. Mitchell will spike like 4 times. That's my over under, like a 3.5 spike week. And by spike week I mean like 14 plus points, at least 14 points. 12 points not enough. Minimum 14 points, because the volume's just not going to be there for Keaton Mitchell to give you 15 plus consistently. Acevedo in here at 6. Yo, Infamous, good to see you again. I forgot to shout out everyone. We have Niners fan Chad's in here. C. Crowder is in here at the 104. Rocco Jamaica in here for the 3rd straight time. Yo, 3 straight drafts. I'll take a peek. I'm pretty sure you were in that second one as well. You do all 3. You've earned it. Infamous, though. First draft with us in a minute. I'll probably take a look at him. J-Rock the Party in the last one, but did not get a team review. I might take a peek. Peyton the Legend, good to see you again, sir. BDI 2004, not sure about you. Super Beast, Chumbawamba in at the 111, and then Res Dog as well. Another member. A lot of friends and family. I'll do 3. I'll do 3 of them at the end. Malkenstein, oh well, gonna head out. Good luck. Yeah, it looks like you didn't make it in this one. Cheers to you, brother. See you next time. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Mac Nova, yo, what's up, man? Just have to fade the Keenan signing with Harris. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I don't think Keenan's coming back. If he does, it would kind of suck. I take Keenan Allen on occasion, but honestly, I could see him more likely return to Chicago than return to the Chargers. Unfortunately, J-Rock the Party did take Caleb. I'm not going to get Caleb with Loveland or Swift, but I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. It would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to take Dak Prescott for sure with Pickens and the neighbors bring back. I'll bet on that game. So missing out on Hurts is perfectly fine. And then the question here is, which receiver do I like the most? I think the safest bet is going to be DK Metcalf. I have a lot of Quentin Johnson already. I'm going to go DK Metcalf today. But trusting Gibbs and Swift, not in love with the running back values here. I like Tony Pollard the best. And then I like Rico Dowdle. There's very slim chances I get Rico Dowdle to make it back. But with Gibbs, I can afford to push. Who knows? Maybe I get a nice fall on Kyle Monangai or something like that at the next turn. I have the elite onesie in Colston Loveland, so there's going to be some type of weakness, and I'm not going to drastically shift the build just because there's running backs here that are okay, not great. But the team at 2, Jay Cooper, goes Tony Pollard at pick 74, the 702. And like I said, the running back I like the most there would have been Tony Pollard. So I like that. To pass on Chuba, I think makes sense. Then I think I'm Ramondre, Rico, Jalen Warren. And then I guess I'll take Chuba. But I could see Kenneth Gainwell be more valuable than Chuba. I think Chuba needs to fall. It's pretty fucking wild that he has refused to fall despite the massive rise on Jonathan Brooks. At what point does Chuba start to move down the board? Does Brooks have to meet him and overtake him in the 70s to overtake him, or are they going to meet somewhere around like pick 90, pick 91? If they're both 8th round picks, it becomes a very interesting discussion. But at the moment, for me to still get a discount, 2.5, almost 3 rounds sometimes on Jonathan Brooks, I'm still taking Brooks. I'm taking Brooks less often now. He's starting to get a little bit less appealing. I took him like crazy when he was less expensive, so I don't have the FOMO. If he enters the top 100, I'll probably stop. I think at the moment, top 100 is where I will stop. But I could still see the market push Brooks up to pick 90 and maybe even into the 80s. Perhaps he ends up just going where Chuba's going right now. If he finishes 75, that'd be pretty funny on Brooks. But Mark the Shark says, dude, Scatabo is going to be RB1, maybe even top 5. Scatabo could be the league winner. It is possible. Rock Hard Castle, I guarantee this is my first share of Achane. Taking him at 20 makes a lot of sense. If anything, though, to be stuck with Achane there, maybe you should have just gone with JSN. You know, like maybe reaching on Amon-Ra makes Achane at pick 20 a little less exciting. But to get any running back at pick 20 is a gift in the first place, so take it if that's what you can get. Just take it. Not bad. Come on, baby. Turn the lights off. Bigsby is also a better player in general than Marks. I would fully agree with this. Yeah. Abso-fucking-lutely. Hartman. Tank was one of the best pure runners last year. I know. People just don't look into him. People just only remember Saquon's backwards hurdle. And nobody... Not nobody, but still, the sleeping giant that is Tank Bigsby has yet to be woken. But Dart circles back. Definitely interested in that. And then the question is, do I just take Michael Wilson? I never take Michael Wilson. I don't take him ever. I will go Kenneth Gainwell. We're still inside the top 100. So like I said, I'm not going to take Brooks in the top 100 yet. I need full confirmation in terms of camp reports to be that high on him. But here with Kenneth Gainwell, I've always considered him like the next most valuable guy after Rico. Probably deserves to be an 8th round pick. So I'm good with it. We have seen Bucky fall, but Gainwell hasn't risen enough in my opinion. So I'll just do that. Balanced at RB. Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell. Now, he might not contribute very much week 17 against Myles Garrett and the Rams. That's like an elite run defense even last year. Going to be probably even tougher this season. So maybe he just helps me get there. He's not quite in my lineup in the final week, but maybe I'm starting someone else. Maybe somebody that I'm drafting much later doesn't help me get there, but is the piece I need at flex instead of Gainwell. But also I could just have a receiver in that slot. I could also get away with it that way. That's also possible. But this team is definitely shaking out much differently than the previous one. The other one, we had 5 receivers already, only 1 quarterback. We did not have a tight end yet either, if I recall correctly. On this one, we got the 2-3-3-1. So fewer wideouts, more capital spent on quarterback. And according to my rankings, I did not take the most valuable one. Herbert, I do believe, is more valuable than Dak. But we get Dak stacked with George Pickens, Jackson Dart stacked with Malik Neighbors, and they play each other week 17. That game does profile as a potential shootout. Should be very fun. Fun game to bet on. But running back, the best of the entire player pool, Jahmyr Gibbs, the 101 for a reason. DeAndre Swift, RB2, the bring back and just a very valuable piece. Good asset. And then Kenny G, Kenneth Gainwell, in a valuable part of the draft. There's not that many running backs that you can guarantee to make it back to you that you feel great about. Maybe a Jordan Mason, maybe an Aaron Jones, but Brooks is long gone at that point. He went pick 99, and there's no guarantees at the next turn. Also, maybe not. That's not the position I need the most. But Minnesota Motor Madness, Allen seems to be falling lately. He is. It seems like he's more consistently going in the 4th round. So it does feel much better to take him in the 4th round now. And at that point, you might as well scoop it up. Especially if you have like James Cook. It seems kind of odd to pass there. So like that Keith got him here at pick 39. Definitely worth it at the 403. Pepper Tony, I laughed my ass off. I forgot they brought in all those old heads. I suppose this is the Giants receiving room. But Jay Cooper looks stacked. He's got Bijan, McBride, Breece Hall, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Jalen Hurts, Tony Pollard, Harold Fannin, and Rachaad White. Not bad. Only 2 receivers, though. So far, the receiver room is not one to envy. Travis Hunter off the board, 115. Wow, infamous, getting frisky. That is an interesting selection. Jesus Chumbawamba, a.k.a. Chewy BMZ, 24. Jesus in at 11. Welcome. Mac Nova, got to do the mid-draft team reviews so you don't have to stay up even later. That's probably fair. We have the full 22 picks around the turn to do that. But I would have loved Wandale there. That's a bummer. Damn. Holy shit. Bo Nix fell. Really? Jay Cooper. You fucked up. You should have taken Bo Nix at 119. You have Waddle. You fucked up. I'm gonna be that guy that doesn't let you have him. Sorry. And then I'm just gonna stick to my ranks. I'll go Stephon Diggs. Sorry. Should have taken Bo Nix with Waddle. I'm just upset I didn't get Wandale, honestly. But Jordan Love also fell dramatically, so that's interesting. But a Jordan Love unstacked, nowhere near as valuable as Waddle stacked up with Bo Nix at 119. That is unique. But with Rachaad White, I guess it's all rendered pointless. Like, to pull up Rachaad at 98 and then get Bo Nix at 119, like, that just completely defeats the purpose. So I'm getting unique. Bo Nix at 120. Absolutely. This is not bad. And you know what? There's an interesting name I might take at 216. We had the final pick of the draft today. There's a player I have yet to take that I might draft today. I have Loveland, so I could tolerate this weird pick. Maybe you already... Let me know in the chat. Who do you think it is? I'll get to it in, like, what, 20 minutes when I catch up? But who do you think it is? Oh. Paulino. This might be an Evan Ingram team. This might be an Evan Ingram team. Who knows? So nobody snipe me. Nobody. If not, I'll have to go Justin Jolie. That'd be not as fun. If I'm gonna take Ingram, it's got to be when I get Bo Nix at 120. McNova, it's easier to see Marks forcing a timeshare with Montgomery, while Tank is almost certainly the distant RB2, but Tank has more contingent upside. Yes, it's all about contingent upside. It's all or nothing, because the timeshare that Woody Marks is going to be in with Montgomery, I think, is pretty worthless. You're telling me he averages like 5.1 points? I don't give a shit about that. I don't want that. Give me the guy that's averaging 3 points until he averages 16 and a half. That is the Tank Bigsby argument. So that's why I will continuously prefer Tank Bigsby and the contingent upside as opposed to the mid-ass floor of Woody Marks. No offense, Jiri, the skid marks. You've also moved off of it. You go Demont. Jiri is pro Montgomery. But we are only like 2 hours and 15 minutes in. So far, it's not the longest stream I've ever done, right? Yeah, 2 hours and 13 minutes and counting. Honestly, with all the team reviews, I'm kind of surprised that we're not closer to 3 hours. Honestly, I might have time for a fourth, possibly. We got 50 likes, maybe. But Tyrone Tracy is falling appropriately. Are you guys going to force me to take Tyrone Tracy? Because I don't want him. I don't want Tyrone Tracy. Woody Marks goes. I will be taking Jalen McMillan. I promise you that. And then it's an interesting discussion here. Because my receiver room is not great. I definitely need a wideout. I could bet on talent. Go Denzel Boston. Top 40 draft pick. Pretty mid-ass roster to join, but yeah, I'm not taking Tyrone Tracy. I'm committing to Cam Scatterboo as the guy you need. Now, maybe some of you think that's crazy because I had Jackson Dart. Perhaps I should have just grabbed the value, but honestly, I'm off of Tyron Tracy, and I'm kind of just off of every running back until like the Bigsby range for the sake of price. Like, and I mean, maybe I'm swaying the room potentially, but it's not like Tyron Tracy went off immediately after I passed there. There's still 5 more clicks, and he's still not off the board. There he goes to J-Rock DeParty, who had Taylor, Chase Brown, Chris Rodriguez, and then Tyron Tracy at 151. I think Tracy can fall further. Now, perhaps that's one of the steals of the draft potentially if Scatterbo gets hurt again, but I think the way things are trending, I think Tracy needs to fall. So this is definitely more appropriate. I think at least giving myself the experiment of just seeing what the market decides, not just me. However, round 13, more exciting than the 11-12 turn. But I think if it was the 14th round, I think that's where I don't think I can pass. Once we hit like 160, 158, like if ResDog had the option of going Tracy here, I would understand. Pepper Tony, the real question is, why are people letting the real Carolina running back go undrafted sometimes? I mean, I don't let that happen, man. I take him sometimes. Let's see what my true exposure is on Trevor, shall we? Let's search it up. I have taken Trevor Etienne a total of 3.8% of the time. However, in terms of overall fees, it's closer to 6%. It's 5.8% of money spent. I've taken Trevor Etienne a total 10 times. I'm trying to do it, but I'm still not doing it more than half the time. Chuba is the best running back in Carolina. Brooks, way overdrafted in my opinion. That will be determined. But if you watch the Jonathan Brooks tape from Texas, you might feel differently. Chuba was extremely inefficient last year. One of the lowest efficiency ratings among all starting running backs. I think he ranked outside the top 32, actually. Keith the Big Shooter, huge Bigsby fan. It doesn't have anything to do with him. Marks was selected as my RB4, though. That wasn't crazy. On Cooper's team, he was the RB5. But talk up Bigsby, he goes at 164. He's not going to make it back to me. Unfortunately not. Not today. But if he's there, I'll take Flournoy for the stack. Maybe Lamb suffers another injury, unfortunately. But even without that, I think Flournoy can still contribute. He is available. I will lock up Flournoy. And I have the luxury of both picks back-to-back. I will drain all of the time and think this through. But most likely, I'm just going Brian Robinson. Definitely my highest ranked running back and probably the position of need the most. Getting my 7th wide receiver here. Yeah, getting running back makes a lot of sense. I have 3 quarterbacks. Going to stop there, obviously, with Prescott, Dart, and Nix. We got some fun combos to bet on. And then running back, the Elite 101. Very valuable number 2. Sneaky upside flex play. Could actually be more of an RB2. And then we did not take Bijan. So to get his handcuff... maybe Bijan misses some time or Gibbs does not. And the contingent upside would be fantastic for Brian Robinson. He'll have a few touchdowns randomly, a few contingent upside plays, but maybe he'll have more of a Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb type of dynamic than some people expect. He would be the Nick Chubb in this instance. He's not catching passes, that's for sure. But Algier had 8 rushing touchdowns. Maybe he gets 4 touchdowns. this season and hits our lineup 4 different times. But receiver feels okay, given I kind of waited a little bit. We have Pickens in the bet on Neighbors. If he's healthy, it's worth it. It is stacked, so definitely valuable. DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Jalen McMillan, Denzel Boston, and Ryan Flournoy. In all honesty, I kind of wish I didn't take Denzel Boston. I probably should have just taken Tyrone Tracy. Probably, because I had Dart. And it would have been a bit more unique given the price. Not that I think he can't fall any further, but at least this is one of the farther drops I've seen in a while. So it's about time. But structurally, I would really like to actually be done at running back right now. Either the Flournoy pick or the Boston pick should have been a running back. And given the ADP discount, I think I did mess up by not just scooping up Tyrone Tracy. I probably should have just done that, especially with the Giants bet. So hindsight 2020. But if I'm going to grab Ingram, that locks up one of my remaining picks. I only have 3 of them. I kind of want another stack with Bo Nix. And then I also want a running back. But then there's some... Actually, it might fit. But I feel like there's a pick I'm... Oh, yeah. There's also a receiver that I also really kind of would like to tack on here. For the sake of being different. But maybe I don't go Pat Bryant. Maybe we ignore Pat Bryant. Maybe we ignore Troy Franklin. Maybe the double stack with Bo Nix is unnecessary. Because you can also bet wrong. I'm going to trust that y'all are going to let me have Evan Ingram. I think that's a fair bet to make. I would have loved to grab Katron Allen here, but he comes off the board. I'm grabbing running back for sure. But I think first I'm going to grab the wide receiver that I will tack on here. I'm going to grab Darius Slayton with one of these 2 picks. I know I want him on the team, and I'll gamble that you guys leave me Evan Ingram. Shocker. That'd be wild, right? So I'll go Darius Slayton here. And then with more time, with 26 to think about it, 20 seconds to think about it. Emmett, Ray Day, not bad. Let's take a swing against Javonte. Let's go Jaden Blue. I never take Jaden Blue, but if I'm going to take Slayton, Ingram, you know, maybe it's risky in the first place, but a little sneaky stacking partner with Dak Prescott. And who knows? Javonte has suffered injuries in the past. Maybe Jaden Blue starts to move up the board. John Tara, Troy Franklin, or Pat Bryant definitely crossed my mind. Pat Bryant is where I was leaning had I not taken Darius Slayton, but I needed to grab a running back here. Having Tyrone Tracy would have been better. Had I gotten Tyrone Tracy, I think I would have gone with Slayton and Pat Bryant instead. But Charlie Kolar, nope, not taking Kolar. Fuck that shit. Julius Thomas. Yo, I won a championship with a Peyton Manning Julius Thomas stack. I will forever be a fan of Julius Thomas. Shion Vaki. What's funny is the Google Translate changed this to John Varkey. But Shioni Vaki. That's funny. Brandon Thompson, maybe not today. Not on this team, Young Moolah. But yo, shout out Young Moolah. Welcome in a quill. Check out GAB for Life over on YouTube. Get him to 100 subs. The man is very close to 100 subs if he has not cracked it. Let's get Young Moolah over 100. Paulino can always take Hakeem Butler if Ingram is sniped. I'll go Jolie. Or just like someone that has nothing to do. Maybe I'll go Theo Johnson if I get sniped on Evan Ingram. But I would have taken Tracy for sure. Needed that running back. Yeah. It made sense. Might take my first Trevor share in this draft I'm in. It's fun. Especially if you have Travis as well. I think it's worth it because the argument against Brooks is pretty compelling. The argument against Chuba is pretty compelling. Perhaps the argument against both is pretty compelling. So he's not going to be like the workhorse unless Chuba and Brooks go down, but wouldn't shock me if that happened at all. Not at all. Paulino says double W10 buy with Loveland and Broncos if you care. Thanks for the reminder, Paulino. Shit. Damn it. I will have to eat the 0. Bummer. I don't have any in Evan Ingram, though, so I kind of just want to do it for the vibes. I'm willing to trust that Loveland just gives me an advantage at the position in the first place. You know, with the elite tight end, I think that's a fine bet to make. If it was quarterback, I'd be pissed. But at tight end, I'm not going to care enough. I will do it. I will not back off taking Evan Ingram. Now, Njoku here, getting a Charger with the final click, definitely fun. But I kind of intentionally try to avoid the Chargers Chiefs game because I have way too much of it. I will double down. I'll go Evan Ingram. And you know what? The Patriots matchup was actually one of the best for the tight end position last season. The Patriots versus tight ends is a good spot. So if you're telling me Christian Gonzalez locks up Waddle, that might not be the stack to have. And who knows, maybe Sutton dominates, but perhaps they just give up what they gave up last year. A lot of points to the tight end spot. They were a top 10 matchup all season long against opposing tight ends. So if that continues, I would like that quite a bit. But I'm fine with the bagel at tight end. I remember being up 102-0 after Thursday Night Football in Week 1 after having a Peyton Julius stack. Wow. Were there any bonuses, or did you have a few other pieces? How'd you get 102 points with only 2 players? But yeah, I believe it, honestly. That season was crazy. Julius Thomas had like 14 touchdowns that year. That shit was crazy. That Peyton Manning that season was historic. He had 55 touchdowns that year. He threw 7 in that game. Yeah, that checks out. What were 3 of them to Julius Thomas? Manning had 7 touchdowns, and Thomas had maybe 2 versus the Ravens. Paulino, not a bye week, bro. Myself, I don't really care. Yeah, at tight end, it's so negligible. I'm not going to give a shit. I also drafted Jaden Blue on this team. I'm willing to take some risk. So let's recap the thing in totality. I think this Bo Nix selection makes this team really, really interesting, really fun. We have Dak with George motherfucking Pickens, Ryan Flournoy, double stacked. Yo, what's up, Keith? Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I'll buy you a puppy if you have time for a review. We absolutely will review Keith's team. You know it, bro. I'm gonna talk through mine and then I'll get to yours right after. But you definitely jumped the line. No doubt about it. We have a really interesting quarterback room. 15 pick slide on Bo Nix. Feels fantastic. Jackson Dart is also stacked up with Neighbors and the rarely drafted Darius Slayton, but the highest paid receiver in New York. Definitely following the money with that pick. But Gibbs, best running back available. Swift, really strong RB2. Gainwell, good flex play. Robinson for the contingent upside mostly, but a few standalone games. And then Jaden Blue, just to get different, does also stack up with Dak Prescott. But In totality at receiver, we have George Pickens, Malik Neighbors, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Jalen McMillan, Denzel Boston. I did feel thin at wide receiver. I remember not feeling too great about the proposition of passing on receiver, but perhaps Tyrone Tracy and Pat Bryant was much better than having Denzel Boston and Jaden Blue. Does sound better, but who knows? Maybe Jaden Blue has better contingent upside than Tyrone Tracy this year. Maybe, just maybe. But Flournoy and Slayton are both stacked. And then we have Loveland, the truly elite tight end. The double week 10 bye at this position, but Evan Ingram stacks. And for the vibes, it's at least fun. Last year, he was going way, way more expensive. This year, he's basically going undrafted. So why not? The Bo Nix massive fall deserves, a fluke pick. Maybe this is actually the best tight end on the board. Maybe Evan Ingram is who you need. All right, so the team is fun. The team's interesting. The Tyrone Tracy selection, though, was definitely a controversial decision. I'm not sure if I made the right one. All right, but we do have Keith in the house. Where's Keith in here? Super Beast, pick 10. Allen and Rodgers, phenomenal. Reached on Rodgers at 159, but odds are he would not have made it back to you at 183, 178. Odds are wasn't going to happen. I probably would have taken him 154. Oh, no, 159. Yeah, that makes sense. I might have even taken him. Actually, no. I had Metcalf, but Bo Nix definitely would have stopped me from grabbing Rodgers. So, makes sense. Solid top 2. And then Cook, Javonte, Rico, Dobbins, Sampson. Pretty solid. No complaints there. Pretty legit. A.J. Brown, Christian Watson, Tyson, Sutton, Michael Pittman, Jeremy Bernard. So the double stack with Rodgers definitely makes sense. Also with Rico, that's dope. Troy Franklin and Skylar Bell. You did pass on Bo Nix, and you set up some Broncos. You have Kincaid with Goddard and Hunter Henry. Very fun tight end room. Very, very interesting. Not bad at all. I like the team. Team is well built. Team is balanced. You did take A.J. Brown at 15. Don't see that too often, but I suppose it gets a little unique. The James Cook, A.J. Brown combo. Don't see it too often. Definitely less invested in, for sure. Wow. 7 touchdowns, 462 yards for Peyton Manning. That season was truly historic. I mean, I watched it in detail. He led me to a championship that year. If you drafted Peyton Manning that year, you know ball. It was a very obvious bet. Like, the neck injury was a little scary, but like for the price that he was going so late too, people did not believe. I remember how cheap he was. It was crazy how valuable Peyton Manning was that year. It was insane. Anyways, back to this team. Really solid. No complaints. Honestly, like the Sampson click, I don't take it too often, but at 183, it's very, very reasonable. Tight end is great. Wide receiver, very deep. Well-built roster. Love the team. And then having Allen in the 4th is just like chef's kiss, cherry on top. Omaha! Yo, do y'all remember Julius Thomas and Eric Decker that year? Those guys fucking killed it. Wes Welker was on that team too. Damn. That team was fire. Or no, was Eric Decker on that team a couple years later? Was Emmanuel Sanders on that team? Or was it Eric Decker? I think it was still Eric Decker. But yeah, R.I.P. Demarius. Legend. Decker was on that team. Decker, Thomas, Welker. Yeah, that was a fucking insane team. Sanders did come later, Peter. Yeah. Checks out. Decker took a big pay raise to go to the Jets and had like one good year with Fitzpatrick, not Fitzgerald. Decker was on team 2012, 2013. Sanders 14, 15. Checks out. You know who tied Peyton Manning's record for 7 touchdowns in a game? If I had to guess, I would say Drew Brees. If I had to guess, it's probably not Brady. Like, Brady's like a little too obvious. So maybe Brett Favre, but I would guess it would happen after if he's tying the record. So I would guess Drew Brees. Sneeze. So Manning actually tied the record. There's a few people with 7. Nick Foles. Holy shit. That's insane. That's insane. Then Peyton's arm fell off, and there's the year we won the title. Right. The Brock Osweiler championship roster. That was wild. Him getting a second ring to close it out. Pretty legendary. Good for Peyton. Okay. Rezdog, also a member. Mahomes, Malik, and Sam Darnold. Nice fall on Darnold. Very nice. Saquon, Ken Walker, Jadarian Price. Possibly overvalued, but I still understand taking him there. Keaton, we mentioned, is overpriced. Charbonnet and Jadarian. I'd rather just bet on one, but I could still see them filter in at the right times. Taking both, not bad. Not bad at all. But there is a world where Charbonnet just absolutely sucks. Keaton, a little too expensive, though. But T. Higgins, Egbuka, Cardinal Tate, Addison, Golden, Judy, and Torrey Horton. Pretty solid. The Judy click, the only one I don't like, but everything else is fine. I think stopping at 7 is all right. Maybe not amazing, but I think it's all right to stop at 7 here. Kyle Pitts, Pat Freiermuth, and Washington. I might have grabbed another receiver instead of Darnell, in all honesty. Or another running back. Either of those could have probably helped you a little bit more. I think I would like it to be a running back. But if Saquon and Ken Walker stay healthy, you're probably in perfectly fine condition. And then Price and Charbonnet, you get the best Seahawks all year. So it should check out. If one of these guys goes down, though, good luck. But I like taking Walker and both of the Seahawks. Fun bet that him leaving provides a lot of value. That's fun. Okay. Not bad. Mahomes is only stacked with Kenneth Walker. That's not the most valuable stack, I will say. It's not terrible, but not the most valuable I've ever seen. Darnold with Torrey Horton. Maybe not the best situation. And then Willis unstacked. That's fine. Who cares about that? I want to take a look at Niners fan first draft with him tonight. Burrow, Jones, and Bryce Young at 166. Bryce Young's just officially falling, and it's about time. He's not that valuable. So, hope it's stacked up. You have Chuba, so there is that. Montgomery at 46, Tootin at 51, and Chuba 75. With Jonathan Brooks. Interesting. Okay. Brooks, I think, is the main pass catching back. So I think that's the more valuable stack. But having both makes some sense. I prefer, though, to just bet on Jonathan Brooks on his own. Because if he really delivers, then it's where Chuba just doesn't pay off at all. I don't take Chuba. Really, ever. Aaron Jones, Emmett Johnson. Not bad at all. Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs, Rashid Shaheed, and A.D. Mitchell. a little thin, but with Jamar Chase, Nico, and Rashi, I think you can get away with it having Shaheed as number 5, but you got to be right on AD Mitchell to get some value there. I could see this not work out. If there's like a big injury, let's say to Nico, and then Rashi just like doesn't quite hit often enough, I could see maybe some weeks you have some low scoring games, but you probably have enough flex points at running back to get away with it. And then tight end has Kelsey, Barner, and Gesicki. Gesicki feels out of place here, but I guess it is stacked. I'd rather grab another receiver. I'd rather have Andre Yoshivas on this team than the third tight end being Gesicki. But it does stack. It's fine. I think I'd rather have the 7th receiver. Personally, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world at all. Or maybe even only 5 running backs. But pretty solid. No major complaints. Receiver is top heavy enough to probably check out. But Crowder, don't think I've drafted with Crowder in a while, if not ever. Honestly, this may be my first draft with Crowder ever, unless my memory just mistakes me. But Stafford and Baker with Puka, Godwin, Ted Hurst. Pretty solid. Jeremiah Love, Ramondre, and Mason. Algier, Tucker, and Braylon Allen. A very scary running back room. Like, none of these picks give me a lot of confidence. Maybe the discount on Love saves you at 28. I would have taken it too as RB1. But Ramondre, Mason, and then these 3. Very tricky there. Puka, Evans, Mason, Jameson, Jameson Williams, Chris Godwin, Omar Cooper, Juwan Jennings, and Ted Hurst. Totally fine with that. Very, very solid. Definitely checks out. And then Bowers, Tyler Warren, and Eli Stowers. A lot of capital spent. I think I would have not taken Stowers. I think I would have taken maybe another receiver. Hard to say. Maybe another running back? I don't think you need Stowers at all on this team. But I believe this was maybe the last team or this one. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely this team should eat the 0 with Bowers and Tyler Warren. But the quarterback room could work out. Running back just feels off. Yeah, running back feels very off. So I don't love it. And the Stowers pick, I'm not totally sure. I think I would make it a running back. I think I would prefer 7 running backs on this team. Ramondre, the most expensive number 2 running back in the entire draft pool. Mason also kind of a lower upside backup. And then Algier handcuffed to Jeremiah. Like, really, both Arizona back. Yeah, I don't know about that. I would take another running back. That's what I would do. But, all right. Rocco, I mentioned it with the goat horns. We got Drake May, Jared Goff, and Geno at 188. Geno is unstacked. Gross. Achane, Travion, Blake Corum, Pacheco at 140. Kind of gross. But Bigsby absolutely saves it. No issue with that, especially the Achane at pick 20. No issue here at RB. Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Tedero McMillan at 44. That's definitely a much more appropriate ADP. And then Alec Pierce, Michael Wilson at 101. Yeah, I'd probably do it too. Trey Tucker, Pat Bryant. So falls off fast, but Tucker's solid. And then Bryant could be worthless, but also could be one of the best picks in terms of depth value at the position. So very solid up top. Some good values on Tet and Michael Wilson. And then decent low-end depth. Not bad. And then Ferguson, Schultz, and Otten. No one that's truly elite, but you might get Ferguson to spike in the right spot. And then a lot of volume and safe floor every week with these two. Pretty good team. The Geno click is kind of out of nowhere. I think I'd rather make Geno a running back, because Travion does carry a lot of risk. So does Blake Corum. I suppose Achane has some too, but I wouldn't. I'm definitely not faulting the Achane click at all. I just think with Travion, Blake Corum, and Tank Bigsby, there's actually a lot hinging on Pacheco to keep you afloat potentially. And I'm not convinced having a sixth is not necessary. So it is 8 picks of value, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand the Geno pick. You have Drake May and Goff. I think you can get away with that. I think that's fine. So give me a 6 RB instead of Geno at 188. And on the board for me, Katron was off. Okay, yeah, not going Katron. I wouldn't recommend Jaden Blue on your team. Maybe you made the right choice, actually. But even Ray Davis, I think might help a little bit. I'd probably just go Emmett Johnson or Ray Davis, or maybe Damon Claiborne. You know, maybe take Otten first. Don't risk that he doesn't make it back, and then change it up. The Geno pick feels weird. I just don't like Geno though. Chad, let's draft one more. Perhaps, bro, but honestly, I don't think so. I think I got to go to sleep because I am waking up early in the morning. We're drafting with Steve O Speak. You can find him on Twitter at Steve O Speak. Steve Schaup is joining the channel tomorrow, and we're drafting kind of early. He's on the East Coast. We're drafting at noon Pacific, so I want to make sure I'm awake for that one and on my game. So I don't think I'm doing a fourth one. Not tonight, but appreciate y'all for sticking around. We still have 50 people watching, and it's almost midnight. It's almost 3 a.m. on the East Coast. But we were referencing him. I mean, literally, we had an ode to Peyton Manning earlier, and he's in this draft lobby with us. So I think it's about time we pay some respect to Peyton for setting the record with 7 touchdowns. He's in this draft, so let's review Peyton the Legend Manning as well. Purdy, Mendoza, and Brissett, not the best, but Purdy potentially carries you long enough, and maybe Brissett actually keeps the job longer than expected. But I don't think you get anything out of Brissett following like week 7, week 8. He'll be like 1-5 at the best, and they'll yank him. If not sooner. But CMC, Derrick Henry, Travis. So 3 straight RBs to start. Nice fall on Travis at 32. Singleton and Mike Washington. Nice way to build it out given how much you spent up top. Super late with some hopes that these guys pop. Very legit. Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison. Mekhi Lemon at 80. Definitely a more appropriate price. Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Naylor. Not bad. Pearsall is the 5th, feels pretty solid. And then Higgins is decent. And then Naylor could pop. It is stacked up as well with Mendoza. Kittle, Andrews, and Gunnar Helm. Pretty solid. I'm fine with that tight end room. Elite upside if Kittle plays more than expected. So I've been trying to take Kittle more often. He's stacked with Brock Purdy, so very legit. And his price has been moving up. You take him at 113. Very fair decision. So yeah, the fun Brock Purdy bet I tried to set something up like that the other night, but we ended up with Mac Jones. I pushed Purdy too far, and definitely feels better to have the Niners stacked with Brock Purdy. Fun team. Love the running back room. Interesting quarterback play, but for the price, it allows you to have some good depth elsewhere. So good thrift store shopping at QB to fill out the roster. Late season production with the rookie and then early season production with Brissett. Not bad when you build it like that. And then Brissett also stacks with Harrison. Very fair. Very fair choice. Anybody else I need to check out? We'll look at Chewy. Let's take a look at Chewy and then say goodnight. Kyler and Stroud. Stroud, I don't like as a standalone QB2. If he's on my roster, I either want him as the third or locking up a third. Stroud, I take exclusively on 3 quarterback builds. He has a very, very low floor and also a pretty low ceiling. Genty, Kyron, and Josh Jacobs with Bucky, so fuck the risk. Not afraid at all. And then RJ Harvey, pretty fun, pretty high upside running back room. Also, different color jersey on every player. That's actually kind of hard to do when you really think about it. Sometimes you never see a room like this. Full color palette. Jefferson, Roma Dunze, Jaden Reed, Casey Concepcion, Shakir, Tank Dell, and Dontavian Wicks. The Wicks click is pretty fun. I like that one a lot. Tank, I've started to click a little bit more often. Shakir makes a very competent wide receiver 5. You know exactly what you're going to get, and it's a good offense, so worth the bet. Concepcion, I think, is a little overpriced, but you kind of felt some pressure. You went with him above ADP at 110. And then Jefferson, Rome Odunze, Jaden Reed are the crux of the lineup. So Rome needs to hit. I think you're actually counting on him a lot on this one. And then when Jaden Reed doesn't hit, you will at least have Shakir and maybe a really nice value. But the receiver room feels a little bit risky. Not gonna lie. But having Jefferson at least anchors the position, you'll probably be okay. A little risky though. Let's be honest. 4 tight ends. That's the cost. Definitely could have maybe used an 8th receiver. And you can afford it with Sadiq, Juwan Johnson, Hawkinson, and Colby Parkinson. It's not like you had a big fall in price on Sadiq or Juwan Johnson. They're right at ADP. And then Hawkinson did fall 15 spots, but you reached on Parkinson just because you needed him. Give me another receiver instead of one of these tight ends. Any tight end can be different. And honestly, I think it should be Kenyon Sadiq. If not, you don't really need Hawkinson, but the discount, I get it. I don't think I would have taken Parkinson. Or like Juwan Johnson. Like one of the, yeah, any tight end for a receiver, I'd feel better about the team. You could have had Trey Harris instead of Sadiq or Juwan. You could have had A.D. Mitchell. Darius Slayton you could have had. I guess I understand, but even give me Tyreek Hill on this team instead of Parkinson. I think it's more interesting. Receiver feels a tiny bit too risky. Just a touch. And like you can absolutely afford the extra receiver, but you might get an extra flex play at tight end. Maybe you played it right. Maybe you know something. I do not, but I believe that is it on the team reviews. Oh no, there's also Infamous in here. Daniels and Tyler Shuck, Quinchon, Warren, Manungai. At this point, I'm just gonna go to midnight. We're gonna do 3 hours. Get a 3 at the beginning of the timestamp. I'll also check out J-Rock the Party. Fuck it, we'll do everyone. Coleman and Ty Johnson. The Ty Johnson click, interesting. Worth mixing in on occasion, but I don't believe in Coleman. I prefer Rico over Warren, and then Manungai is a handcuff ultimately. So A lot hinges on Quinchon. This running back room does not feel the most inspiring. JSN, London, Olave, and Terry with Worthy, Hunter, and Tesla. You also reached on Hunter well above ADP. 115 is too high. I don't understand that. That's like a star method mistake, if I had to guess. And then another 4 tight end build with Okonkwo, Strange, Dulcich, and Ferguson. So another obsession with the Rams tight end room. At least you waited a while too, but like running back is thin as fuck. Give me another running back than one of these tight ends. Yeah, same thing as the last team. I don't get the 4 tight end build with this running back room. I'm not as confident in Warren and Manungai or Coleman as you are to feel like Ty Johnson is a luxury pick you can afford to stop with. I want another running back on this team. And then J-Rock to party, we got Lamar and Caleb. Very solid. Both, no, not both above ADP. Lamar right at ADP. You have Luther Burden. You saw my Loveland Swift combo and said, nope, I'm taking Caleb while I can. And then you have Taylor, Chase Brown, Chris Rodriguez. You're the one that got Tyrone Tracy 20 spots past ADP. I probably should have just taken it, but I wasn't the only one that passed again. And like I said, there's a chance he keeps falling even further if this news on Scattaboo keeps getting better and better. But Katron Allen, love that click as well. And then Emmanuel Wilson, not the most exciting click right now, but having 6 is interesting. I think with the fall on Tracy, you might have been okay to stop at 5. On this team, I think stopping at 5 is actually not terrible. But if Katron does nothing, I understand the hedge, getting Emmanuel Wilson for early season points. But Flowers, Luther Burden, Quentin Johnston, Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Coker, Trey Harris, Branch, and Surratt. So 2 Chargers without Herbert, but not bad. Flowers and Burden are stacked. So is Surratt. And then Kraft and Laporta, very good tight end room. That feels great. Little bully tight end. Receiver room feels good for a bully tight end build. Wouldn't have expected that. And then running back, yeah, you did wait quite a while. Yeah, the discount on Tracy did come in handy here. So could be great, could be worthless potentially. Same with Rodriguez, worth the gamble though, and then I like the Katron swing a lot. These top 2 though are good enough to just trust outright. So very fun team. Honestly, I like this team as one of the best ones. And you did take Tyrone Tracy, so part of that definitely plays in your favor. Very nice team, J-Rock. Last but definitely not least. All right, that's going to be it for me. I believe I am done for the evening. So if you stuck around, really appreciate you. Drop a like on your way out if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the channel if you can. And let me just catch up with the chat real quick. I remember I traded Manny Sanders to my buddy for that Immortal Patriot defense. League manager vetoed it, and I lost out on the defense. Buddy traded that New England defense to someone else who played me twice. Bummer. Damn. Talk about fancy karma. That sucks. What's up, G Stokes? Net result, that 250-point New England defense played against me 3 separate times in 14 regular season games because of the trade instead of being mine. That's brutal, Slayton. That effing sucks. Dean Johnson, yeah, Nick Foles threw 7 touchdowns in 2013, threw his 7th with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. That is crazy. That I do not remember at all. Can't be drafting tomorrow when the USA plays. That's fair. Chad, Australia about to get smacked. I'm not sure who they're playing. Who's Australia playing tomorrow? Acevedo, don't forget my team. LOL. Running back is pretty bad, but we can always hope. I think I got it, right? Are you? Did I get it, Acevedo? I hope I did. We know for sure Gainwell is the 2. I thought Tampa Bay liked Tucker. Tucker is the goal line back, but Gainwell absolutely operates as the 2, if not 1B. Tucker is not stealing Gainwell's job. Tucker does not catch passes. Gainwell had like 77 targets last season. Gainwell is locked in. But Tucker is the goal line back. Maybe they're all not as valuable as we would hope. I take all of them, but definitely not as much. Bucky Irving. Chad said took Stroud before ADP, just knew I was going to pair him with Nico. Very fair. Very fair decision. USA versus Australia. Oh, shit. I didn't realize that. I have not been as locked in on the World Cup. I've been watching here or there, but yeah, that's definitely a good game. All right. We made it to 12 a.m. The 3-hour is in the timestamp, and I will see y'all tomorrow at noon Pacific, exactly 12 hours from now. We'll be live with Steve Schaup from the Fanspeak Network. He was on the 10-hour live stream, and we'll be drafting with him again tomorrow. Look out for that. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Goodbye.